And that is why I wrote the book, When Your Heart Belongs to an Addict.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta on the UI Media Network, a conscious way to start your day. Get ready to welcome the awesome duo, the uncensored and bubbly Shannon McVeigh, and the conscious voice of the South, Tim Ray, as they add a conscious twist to any and everything around you. So fasten your seatbelts, get ready for a ride around the Big Peach while we awaken Atlanta.
Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. I am Tim Ray, your co-host, the number one conscious show in the world, and I'm sitting next to number two, or you're number three.
Why do I have to be number two and you number one, sir? He thinks he's so much more conscious than me, but I beg to differ. You know why?
Why?
Because you are, but you're also not.
Well, listen,
if that makes any sense
well,
at all.
because you know why I'm not? Because about 95% of me is unconscious.
Really?
Yeah, and about 99% of you's unconscious.
Darn.
I'm just kidding. Actually, you're much more conscious than people realize. In fact,
I know.
You know why? Because you're sensitive. This is Shannon McVeigh, by the way.
Hi, I'm Shannon McVeigh, the bubbly and uncensored. Oh, Patrick's on. He said, good morning, UI family. Where have you been, Patrick?
Yeah, where have you been, sir?
Glad to see you. Sailor, did you just call him Sailor?
No, I
Are
didn't
you
call him
flirting
Sailor.
with him?
Am I flirting with you, Patrick? So listen, guys, we have a great show. We're talking about Shannon's favorite hobby to do today. It's all about what?
Being a drunk. Being a closet drunk. No, but it's about, are you a drunk? Because we socially accept it so much, which we'll get into in a moment. But
Absolutely. Well, I think it's epidemic levels. In fact, since alcohol has been it's been legalized for a long time now, and it's so prevalent wherever you go. It's a pastime, and not only that, it's a rite of passage. And so I think
what do you mean?
It's a rite of passage, like when kids go into high school or into college, they have to drink. They're supposed to drink. When you drink, because how do you go to college without drinking? I mean, what college song you ever heard doesn't have drinking in it, right? And so, or even high school.
There
now.
are college songs?
Yeah, you ever hear that song?
Are you thinking of rugby?
No, I'm thinking of college songs. Yeah,
There's
there
like
are.
what?
It'll come to me. There's
right.
a hip hop song,
It's a college hip hop song. So
I love college. What's that song called, Otis?
What are you talking about? Ashley, if you know, say it in the microphone.
Maybe Otis will bring it in. But point being is, alcoholism, guys, is out of control. It's out of control because we think it's just...
Guys,
there.
Hi.
Yeah.
it's I Love College by Asher Roth.
I Love
how
College
does
by
it-
Asher Roth.
How does it go? What is it?
Oh my God. Yeah, I love. Honestly, I don't even.
All
I'm not in
right.
college anymore.
All right.
Hey, by the way, that's the voice of Ashley Abel. She's going to be help producing our shows here. You'll see and hear more
Maybe
about her.
she's interning today.
Maybe,
We're going to figure
yes.
it out. She's on the job, so you guys decide if she's any good or not.
If you keep her or not, right? You
It's
decide.
all up to the fans. These are the people that really run the show, Ashley.
All right, so Shannon McVeigh, we're going to be talking about alcoholism today and much more. But in the meantime, can I share a few things with you?
Yeah, like talk about the weekend.
Yes, let's talk about our weekend.
Yes, the
Okay.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, who won?
The Chiefs? I didn't really watch. You know why I didn't watch? Because
Shannon.
I didn't even know who was in the
She's-
freaking Super Bowl until the day of the Super Bowl.
Shannon's
'Cause I had-
anti-American, just so you know.
No,
that.
I am not. I love America and I love the Super Bowl, but I mean, who are the Chiefs?
The Kansas
Hail
City
to the
Chiefs.
Chiefs because they're the Chiefs and they need healing.
Well, they did put a whooping on the last quarter.
I was going. Have you ever heard of a box, like where you put money on a box, and if it
Really?
ends, I don't really understand this. So.
Have you?
Do you know that I bet money?
I don't believe that.
So I could have won. I could have won $20,000.
You can't part with a dime. What are you kidding me? When's the last time you went and paid for dinner for a man or something?
Oh God, I never will. You just made me throw up in my mouth.
Well, I do.
I pay dinner for my sons.
I do see you pay dinner for your girlfriends, though. I give you
I'll
that.
pay dinner for my girlfriends.
I see you.
Why would I pay dinner for a guy? I mean,
What if you?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, and it's 2020.
I mean,
honey.
am I dating this said guy?
No,
or
it's
is he
just
to
a
be
friend?
cool, like
It'd be
just,
cool. Yeah.
just-
So you want me
'Cause
to
you
take you
wanted
out,
to.
Wahid?
Yeah,
I would love that.
All right. Once I can afford it, I will. I need a raise.
Yeah, all right.
America just heard that.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Fair.
It's been recorded.
Okay.
But what he said, once she afforded and she needs a raise, so Good luck on going out to dinner with her.
So Tim, why can't you just hand me a company card?
Yeah, right.
And then I'll take everyone to dinner.
Yeah, then nobody would have jobs. You know?
Yeah, no, but everyone would be happy. They'd all be drunks in America. Full circle.
All right, so Shannon McVeigh,
All right, so
you didn't watch the Super Bowl.
So I kind of watched it because I wanted to see if I was going to win my bet, and I didn't.
You didn't, okay. But can I just tell you something happened? I want to hear, and I know
you had an epiphany.
I know the boys, and maybe even Ashley.
You understood what it was like to be a real boy and watch Super Bowl and watch football.
I'm a man's man.
You
Shannon.
had your son explaining to you the rules. You said, "Where's the second quarter?" And they're like, "What?"
You know, if there was some truth to that.
Where's the seventh inning stretch?
If there was truth to that, I wouldn't be laughing right now. So,
yeah, right.
But I will say this: you missed the halftime, and the halftime was pretty controversial.
That's in my news segment. That's my news.
Okay, we talk about that too, and we'll talk a little bit later on as well because it was pretty. I mean, it was pretty.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay.
What do you think about it?
Okay, well, this is what I think. You know, you got Beyonce. You know, by the way, Beyonce.
It wasn't even freaking Beyonce.
No.
Old man.
No, I'm saying Beyonce and Jay-Z were there, right? Anybody see them? Anybody see them stand up? Anybody see them stand up during the national
For
anthem?
the person in the bag. Yeah.
Anybody see them stand up?
Okay, fine. They were there.
They didn't stand up.
They didn't stand up.
What's your point?
Okay, well, I just made notice that. But whoever was in the halftime was the stripper poles, right? Wasn't it Beyonce?
It was freaking J-Lo.
J-Lo, that's what it was. J-Lo.
And Shakira.
Okay.
Jeez.
So listen, if they're a model, because like Angela Jolie has the little transgender kids and all this, and everybody's a model for everyone, right?
I already know this is going to be cringeworthy, everybody.
I'm just saying, do you think, listen, I love girl on a stripper pole. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. All my stripper friends out there, people, whoever, listen, I'm not judging you on that. I'm just saying, do you want your daughter to learn how to do the stripper pole? All right.
May I speak?
What?
I think everybody who's really this offended by it needs to internally look at themselves because they are performers. They were performing. Freaking J-Lo's 50 years old. Look how good she looks.
Yeah, well,
Shakira's in her 40s. And by the way, guys, Shakira wasn't just twerking. She's doing her native stuff. Like, she's representing where she comes from, and everybody shamed it. They got slut-shamed like crazy, especially by old white pastor folk. And I'm a Christian. So that
You're
really
a white
irked me. There was a bunch of mothers like that, my girlfriends on my Facebook account, and I just read them hating on it, and it just really upset me.
Right.
Because I can understand both sides. Like I get that let's talk about the sex trafficking is the number one day is during Super Bowl. And so them gyrating on a pole is probably not the best to get them pumped up, but I don't think that their intention was that. J-Lo, her intention, she was in the movie Hustlers where she played a stripper. She was up for an Academy Award and they blew her off, or an Oscar, and they blew her off completely. So that's her getting back in her little way because it's entertainment industry.
Listen,
you got to be able to understand it.
Listen, I was entertained watching it. I was completely entertained. I'm not saying that it's not entertaining. In fact, most things out there that's happening in Hollywood is entertainment. Otherwise, people wouldn't be watching it. But do you think there could be a level of, concern that when people see others, especially celebrities, that they look up to for whatever God knows reason? I mean, most actors don't even have a degree in school, but they look at, and they used to be the gestures, by the way, back in the King's days. They were the joke,
Okay, what are you saying now?
Right. Point being, do you think there could be some type of level of, harm done in our social norm society that we develop every day, that you have ladies dancing on stripper poles, that this is something to aspire for young girls?
See, and I don't take it that far.
But what you see every day is what you covet.
You know what, though? There are people, there are stripper aerobics now. There's like workout classes where you're on a pole.
I know. I'm saying, and there's sex trafficking, and there's a whole bunch of other things going on too. I mean, do you think it's a great role model? Would you want Winnie to watch J-Lo?
Winnie watched it, I'll tell you. And Winnie was dancing in front of, and I was fine with it.
So in back of Winnie's mind, dancing on a pole is a positive thing.
No, it's not like that. It was an art. It was a form of beautiful performance.
Right.
Those women, there's more than what you guys think of them just trying to be sex symbols.
Right.
What did they post? J-Lo, I think, posted something before the game of her.
We have a caller trying to call. You may want to call him too. I guess got on there. Yeah. Give him a call. Give him a call, Otis. Sorry. But go ahead. What are you going to say?
J-Lo posted, and she said, let's take this two Latina girls, let's show America what we're made of, or something like that.
Yeah.
So they went to their history, and like J-Lo
So
had
their
her American flag and then her Puerto Rican flag,
so the Latino
singing Born in
history
the
is
USA
dancing on
timeout
poles.
with her daughter. It wasn't just a freaking dancing on a pole. Like, there was so much more to that. What you're doing right now is you're putting them in a box. And I
Okay.
think it's unfair.
Okay, is it a box, or is it saying, you know what? Let's try to do something that, for the children's sake, that that maybe not look up forward to.
What about
How
Adam Levine on Maroon 5 last Super Bowl? No one talked about it. He had his shirt off and his awesome body. What is that line called there? And you're just like, oh my God,
well,
that's a sexy line.
He's a guy. That's okay to do that.
That is so hypocritical.
Tim liked that halftime show.
Yeah, exactly. Tim and the rest of the Christian moms over there. You guys can have your own little group there.
No, okay. Listen,
Performance is performance.
I'm just.
I mean, there's a line, but I thought it was very classy.
Okay.
Maybe without the stripper pole, but other than that, it was fine. Like when Shakira did that tongue thing in the camera, that's like part of her culture. She was representing, and people like reamed it. It's crazy. It's ignorance.
Tribe, what do you guys think out there? You think
I'll
that's
tell you what they think. Billy said Shannon is 100% correct. I never hear that.
Jeez.
And then he also said, just tell me when to call in.
Well, is he calling in now?
He said nobody's answering.
Oh, is the phone out there? Nobody's there. Call again, Billy. All right, so moving on to bigger and better things.
Moving on to the east side, moving on up.
So, talk about shaming here. You ever hear of a fat farm?
Yes.
What is that to you?
It's where you go and you lose all kinds of weight and you're put up, like you eat and you work out. I saw it on my old show, Camp Nowhere, that I used to watch when I was like 10 years old. And they sent the parents sent the kids to their fake. I don't know. Anyway, I know what it is.
All right. So, well, they don't call them fat farms anymore. They call them fit farms.
Oh,
and
well, that's very motivational compared to fat farms, right?
Well,
that's good.
Well, some are more politically correct. Some are just in your face. But anyway, so my son wanted to lose some weight, so he decided to go to a fit farm for a couple weeks.
And did you take him?
I drove him up there.
So what does it look like?
I actually have pictures. I should. I'm gonna see if they'll actually call in on Thursday or next week,
and then we'll show the pictures.
Why
don't we better than that? Why don't we go and spend a weekend at the fat farm with the camera crew and we see how much weight we lose?
Actually, I think it's a great idea. Who knows? Maybe they'll let us do that. But it was the coolest thing. I mean, it was up in Nashville, and
I love Nash. See, and I wouldn't want to go. Then I would ditch. I would say I'm going to Nashville to the fit farm, and then I would really go to a honky tonk and sit on a bar stool and dance the whole weekend.
Listen, where this place is, there's no honky tonks. There's nothing around that area.
Really?
You'd have to go miles and miles and miles and miles of running just to try to get to a gas station.
Good. So, that's how they get you. Do you think did your son hide Twinkies?
I made sure he didn't have time to pack any food. But it's very limited. They have you on a very strict diet, or at least a limited diet, but it's a healthy diet. But you know how much they work out a day?
How
Did you
much?
guys do this? 7 hours a day. This is a full throttle program. 7 hours a day.
That's going to start his body. That's fantastic.
Well, they said it's equivalent. 1 week there's equivalent to 30 days of working out and eating right.
Wow.
So that basically is getting 2 months of training in 2 weeks.
That's good for him.
I know,
But see how
but he
you better
loves
feel
that.
lucky and very fortunate that you have the means to do that for your son, because there's a lot of people that don't.
No, I understand. It's a little pricey. But at the same time, though, it could truly turn your life around.
Yeah, no, it's worth it. It's investment.
It is an investment.
In yourself.
I agree.
You know what else is?
What?
Being careful and mindful of what you drink.
Really. And guys, if you're out there, share this please now on Facebook.
Yeah,
Get the word out there.
Yep.
And
because we're still blocked.
yeah, we are still blocked.
All right. Lisa, how do you say your last name? Because I don't want to ruin it.
Boucher.
Boucher. Boucher.
Yeah. Lisa Boucher.
Boucher.
She's an award-winning.
Boucher?
It's like French.
Like French.
Boucher.
Boucher. Boucher.
So she's going to be on.
Boucher.
And
Boucher.
she's going to talk about the alcoholic epidemic.
She's an ex-alcoholic.
Because it is an epidemic. If you really think about it, like before we get into our notes and our critical thinking,
Yes.
do you feel like as Americans or maybe as humanity, we kind of accept the fact that drinking is so legal and we maybe abuse it, but we don't really discuss how much we abuse it because it's legal?
Absolutely. In fact, I think it's like the Satanism. It's so in your face, you don't even see it happening, and alcoholism is accepted. Not only is it accepted, it's a rite of passage. And if you don't drink, you get peer pressured Like, forget
You do. Like, I don't trust a
forget
person
college.
that doesn't
Go to
drink.
high school.
Unless you're an alcoholic. If you're a recovering alcoholic, then I'll trust you. But if you're just a person that doesn't drink, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Okay, but you know how warped that is?
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to do something to eliminate stress. So what do you do?
See, this is.
Don't even tell me you meditate.
Okay, no, Shannon. This is where I think you misunderstand, or you're part of the alcoholism.
I'm
culture.
part of what's wrong with the world.
You're part of what's wrong with the world. I think that no, and I think that what we're going to be doing is going forward and talking about what's alcoholism and why is it so accepted, and it's accepted. Now, listen, I'm going to be speaking a little bit hypocritical today because I do love my bourbon, all right, and I love my beer and I love my wine. I truly do.
And he's had all three today.
Yeah, right. But at the same time, if I'm a social drinker, but at the same time, if alcohol just disappeared or if there was something, if prohibition came back.
Oh, hell no.
Hold on. I'd be like, all right.
You're so full of it.
Shannon, I would be.
Don't be a liar, Tim Ray.
I'm not lying.
All right.
I'm telling you.
So you'd be okay with prohibition, sure.
I'd make my bar into a juice bar.
Oh, God, you would not.
I would too.
I would be out at your house making my own moonshine, being a real cool person.
Okay. you see how you are? You drink alcohol, you're cool. You don't drink alcohol, you're not cool. You drink alcohol, you get to hang out with Shannon McVeigh.
Yeah, like really. Because if I were to go out with you and you wouldn't be like drinking with me and you'd be if you're fun, I'd be okay with it.
All right, okay.
There's something to it. There's nothing wrong if you do it socially, I don't think. And then also, I want to point out that there are so many women, housewives, hating on people that drink wine, hating on the moms that drink wine, but yet they're all popped on freaking antidepressants, anti-anxiety.
That's a very good point now.
Like, come on.
Okay, but can we agree that, being on anti-depression medications or anxiety medications or any pharmaceutical drugs, there's a really an education needs to be given with that. But the same thing with alcohol. It's all medication. We're all being medicated on some level,
right,
legally or illegally. It doesn't matter.
Right.
But the whole key is, what are we distracting ourselves from?
Life, it's hard.
Okay, that's my point. I think this is my take. You want to hear my take in a nutshell?
But
right.
Go fast. Don't lose people with your soapbox.
Okay.
Go fast like your sex life.
All right. Then I'm going to ask you these questions, and you tell me.
Are they the critical thinking questions?
No, they are.
Okay.
We'll get to them though. Okay, I think that we distract ourselves with alcohol, eating, whatever it may be, because we're distracting ourselves from our soul of being who we truly are. I think that's the number one reason why we find ourselves in addictions, find ourselves dealing, it could be work addiction, whatever it may be, alcohol, doesn't matter, that we're running away from ourselves because we truly don't understand the power of who we are, of our connection to God, source, and we don't realize it. And the more we distract and numb ourselves out, the less we connect with that source. And I think that's where the hypocrisy comes in, that we're running away from ourselves to a hopeless down the road where it means nothing at the end of the day.
Okay, but you still drink.
Yes, I still drink.
So saying all that and knowing it and you still drink, what does that say about you?
It says that I'm a work in progress.
I just think that we're all kind of hypocritical. So,
well, it's not about being a hypocrite. It's about recognizing that first. If I'm truly distracting myself with all my addictions, then, at some point I'm going to have to get real with myself. And it may be I stop drinking alcohol. Who knows?
Yeah. And alcohol really hurts your body.
It does.
But do you think there's such thing as an occasional drinker?
Absolutely. I think most people I know are occasional drinkers. So I call them social drinkers. You mean like occasional?
Occasional drinker.
What is the difference between occasional and social?
Same.
Drinker? Okay. Well, I mean, I think when I socially drink, like at parties, I have a hard time slowing down or having just one or two casual drinks.
Okay, so casually drinking. Then
okay, yeah, I think the problem is it's built inside it. The more you drink, the more likely you drink more. All right, time out.
What if you just drink like twice a month?
Right.
Then what? Is that could be considered an occasional drinker?
Well, if you don't binge, there are alcoholics who binge drink. They only drink once a month, but they binge drink for a freaking 24-hour period of time.
A just said it perfectly. She said, Jesus made wine. It's symbolic, but education is key. Self-control. Right there. Yes. Self-control, moderation. Don't be a drunk, but it's okay to have, especially in celebration, like a wedding.
Yeah.
When Jesus made his first miracle, by the way. Billy said, ask an alcoholic. We're running from our past.
Right.
Patrick said, numbing and dumbing. Stacy said Shannon will force you to drink if you go out with her. Hey, I will not.
Yes, she does. Shannon's a bully.
I
If you
am
don't know, she's a
not.
bully in so many ways. All right.
In all the best ways.
So yes, I think we are running away from ourselves, and I think that's just the bottom line. But what else you want to share with us?
All right. Well, do you think that? Oh, this is a good critical question. I was
What?
just going to ask one, but then I read the next one
What?
down. Do you have to have alcohol to have sex?
Wow. See,
That is such a solid question
okay.
because I think that a lot of people do and they don't admit it.
well, maybe a lot more women than men, because I think the more you
Yeah,
drink for guys,
yeah.
the less chances they're going to have the epiphany of having sex. But however, it does lower your inhibitions to a certain degree, where you're perhaps likely to do something different.
Well,
than
women
you
are
normally would.
more insecure, I think, than men. So that's why. And when it comes to that, like men, think about it. You guys are kind of gross, right? Like you don't hold anything back, right? More so.
I think more likely, I think that not all men, but I think there's probably a good portion of the men are more likely to be more assertive in the bedroom.
So it might be more scary for women, like, oh my God, he's going to look at me. Let me just like have a couple. I don't know.
The guy's like, what the hell is that?
No, but
Get
like,
me a shot of whiskey,
no,
quick.
what the hell is that? That's like your lady boys. Tim goes to Thailand often.
Yeah.
No, but in all reality, I
Yeah.
think that's why I think that a lot of women do drink a little bit more, especially when they're going to have sex for the first time with the, with
See,
the
this is
man.
where I think a lot of people make a mistake. I think this is a young person mistake. If you guys, the first
How
time,
old, young? What's young?
I mean, from the first time you have sex, do it sober. All right, many reasons. And
What,
one of the main.
what about if you are? Is the first okay?
I'll tell you why. One of the reasons why you want to have sex sober, especially your first time around, is because it is a spiritual experience, you know. And I didn't know that when I was younger. I was drunk
Oh,
when I
you're
had
not
sex
just
first time.
swapping DNA.
No, you're not just swapping DNA. It's a spiritual experience when you're connecting your energy. It's a receiving. Girls are receivers. Men are givers, right? And there's this giving cycle of energy going in a circle there. And when you do it soberly the first time, and hopefully from that point on, it's an experience much more exciting and healthier than you could ever possibly imagine.
But what if it's more fun when you have a couple drinks?
But have your first experience knowing what the real experience is like before. Because most people have sex drunk and they stay drunk having
What
sex.
about
the
it's
rest of
your
their
wedding
lives.
night and they're nervous and they haven't made love yet, so they have a couple and then they do it?
Okay,
They'll have a lifetime of having sober sex.
I'm just saying, try to have it sober your first time, because it sets you're creating new neural pathways, and it sets a whole precedent for the rest of your relationship, whatever it may be.
I
Or
say
it
there
could-
is no
it could.
rule.
Shannon, you just want to have a drink no matter what, right? So
Hey, I gotta be pro
let me ask you a question.
drinks because on our show we have a recovering alcoholic who's gonna tell us how bad it is.
The
to
first
drink.
time you had sex with a boyfriend, were you drunk?
I'm a virgin. I don't know what you're talking about, Tim Ray.
Were you drinking? Were you drunk? Be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I was too.
But that
Shannon,
was a lot of
we're
fun.
Irish. We're Irish. We're Irish. So we're gonna have those
No,
experiences.
not my
right?
first time losing my virginity. I wasn't. If that's what you're asking,
Okay.
is that what you mean? No, of course not. I was
with
sober.
your boyfriend.
Yeah, I was sober.
You were
The first-
sober.
The first time I lost my virginity, absolutely, I was
Okay,
sober.
well, I wasn't. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
No, I was stone cold sober. I was a good girl. I didn't drink. I was
So how was it?
It hurt. What are you asking me? I'm a girl. It was weird and uncomfortable, and we did it to Sarah McLachlan in the Arms of the Angels.
Oh
so
my God! You even know the
stupid.
song? You even know the song you lost your virginity to?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my God!
That's crazy, right?
Man.
What about most women know that stuff?
Really?
Do you remember anything?
I was drunk. How would I remember anything? You know? Jeez.
Do you remember how old were you when you lost your virginity?
I was in high school.
You
know?
were not. You
I
were
was
in
too.
college.
No, listen, I told you before. I lost my virginity before I knew how to masturbate. So you know.
That's so weird to me. Let's judge you.
Well, yeah, because I have no guys have no instructions. Like, what do we do with this? We don't know. We don't have pamphlets or go to a gynecologist or get all this education. We're like, you learn from your brother or from a buddy or from the Playboy magazine or now porn
Don't
videos.
learn that way. But
Well,
you should study, I think, if you're a man.
Well, guys get no direction. We're expected to know these things.
You are. So don't fail. Wahid, what were you going to say? Or is it the time passed?
Oh, I just figured we could maybe break Ashley in and ask her.
Let's break Ashley in.
Yeah, what was your You want to chime in?
Ashley, what
How
was
it
your
first time?
experience with your first time?
All right, guys. Like Shannon said, I was actually a really good girl until college.
Yes.
That's normally how it goes, right? Yeah. I was definitely sober, but what I do remember most is the fact that it hurts so much, man.
Yeah. Women are different. It's not like some beautiful experience for women the first time.
Didn't you
You're
go
just
with
like,
a gentle,
what the heck?
with the guy gentle or what?
I went with another virgin, so he didn't know what he was doing either.
Yeah, that's okay. That could
What
be an
about-
issue.
Being gentle doesn't make a difference. It's the first time.
Yeah,
That-
and you're in college too. You don't know what gentle really is. You're
All right.
just like a
Well,
jackrabbit.
Maybe smoke a little bit then if that's the case.
Billy said he was 16. Aid says, too bad some don't check the package before marriage. Eli said, I saw a study using Curlian photography showing it takes between 2 to 7 days for your energetic field to recover after drinking alcohol. Holy cow.
that's a great point. And this is what I'm talking about.
So do you drink, Eli? Curious. Side note, do you drink? Will you write that in?
Well, this is what I'll say. Most people have drinking experiences with sex.
Some people need it also for anxiety, like for just social settings.
I know, but if we looked at sex not so much from an anxiety perspective or a black and white perspective, we wouldn't have to feel like we have to drink to have sex.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just telling you, exploration, the spiritual experience, the connection, the energetic level of enjoyment is a complete different experience when you're sober versus when you're drunk or high or on drugs.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, let's talk about the facts about alcohol abuse. And Billy, if you want to call in during tribe time, because he's open about his struggles. He literally lived it.
Yeah.
And he shares with us on Awaken Atlanta, so he can call in and tell us what it's like.
Absolutely.
But there's 10 essential facts about alcohol abuse. So what is that? Ethyl alcohol?
Ethyl alcohol.
Ethyl.
Yeah.
What is that?
There's intoxicating ingredient in alcoholic drinks. Ethyl alcohol. That's what they use in
that's what it
gasoline.
is?
That's what they run gasoline cars with, right?
Ethanol.
Ethanol.
That's
okay.
crazy. So that's how we make things alcoholic?
Yes.
Is that how we ferment them?
We're basically like, you ever drink sake? It's like drinking gasoline. That's what gets my engine going, though.
So number 2, you may be drinking more than you realize. And that's something that I noticed. Girls, especially, don't use a straw. If they give you a drink with a straw, throw out the straw. And then also, when you're halfway done, pour water in your drink. That's a good trick.
Okay. Listen,
That's a good trick. If you're social like me and you need something in your hand, just keep pouring water in it.
I'm not unrealistic. I understand that alcohol
Attainable goals.
I understand alcohol is a part of our culture. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand that's just the way our culture is right now. So I'm not ignorant, or I'm a pragmatic person. I believe that I show when I found out my kids are drinking. I didn't teach them. I found they were drinking. And
You
so
didn't teach them?
No. Well, I probably did through
Thanks
my.
for the disclaimer.
I shouldn't say that. I probably did through my nonverbal behavior by drinking throughout my life. They probably modeled it, and that's part of it. Culture. Like, I was raised in 2 alcoholic families, and I was raised in a bar in New York, New Jersey.
Alcohol is a huge thing.
Yeah. So but
especially Irish families.
Yeah,
and then the
forget about
Italian families drinking wine.
Yeah.
Lose.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Germans stay smart drinking though. All right, so but I at one point, because I didn't want them going to college and being inexperienced, so all of a sudden they're going to be, when you get older, the more serious life is. The more you get in trouble, the more serious things happen. They could get, not so much boys, but girls. They could get raped. They could get date raped, all that stuff, because alcohol takes away your judgment, right? And makes you make bad decisions. So I want him.
Also, date rape is somebody putting a pill in the woman's drink.
Yes,
that
as well. But I'm saying often it happens where most women who do have date rape experiences because of alcohol-induced situations.
That's unfair.
It's a fact. I'm saying most people don't carry roofies on them, all right? They do give drinks to people,
Yeah, but girls should be able to be safe enough to go and have a couple drinks with their girlfriends and not be afraid of getting raped.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you're an inexperienced drinker and you go to college and all of a sudden, the whole culture is like, drink, shots. Then you get caught up in the excitement. You do it. You don't have any gauge on your level of how much you can consume. Most people alcohol poison themselves the first time. And then they get in a situation where all of a sudden they are like, oh my God, I slept with the freaking football team. What happened? And they had no idea what's going on. So they had no prep time. So I think, to me, I wanted to make sure my boys had an understanding of, like, you drink,
don't
and drink some
rape
water.
Women.
You drink water, or, you have to, don't do shots, stay away from the shots, whatever. That didn't help much. But my point is,
says the guy who does Fireball.
No, I don't. I'm not. Those days are gone.
Okay.
But my point is that I think prepping them for a reality they're going to go into in college, and maybe not show them, may have them if they drank already, but maybe telling them, walking it through, sharing with them what's going on, what to expect, so they're not caught off guard and make a horrible decision or put themselves in a very precarious situation. You disagree?
No, I mean, you have really great points, which we'll continue talking about when we get back, because I'm going to tell you guys one thing that's probably going to blow your mind when we get back from break.
Wow, I want to hear that.
I know. UIMediaApp.com. Be right back.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Download the UI Media Smart app at uimediaapp.com to watch and listen to all your favorite shows anytime from anywhere in the world. Shows that enrich, entertain, educate, and feeds the conscious cells throughout your body. We bring you never heard before topics in health, inspiration, music, psychics, numerology, current affairs, controversies, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for? Visit www.uimediaapp.com and start raising your frequency now.
It's that time again. Time to have fun, play games, and talk to your tribe. Whether you want to talk to a friend, need advice, or just want to connect, we got you. So what are you waiting for? It's time to win cool prizes. Pick up that phone and give us a call at 678-495-4345. Get ready to raise your vibe. It's tribe time.
Hey, welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. I am Tim Ray, your co-host, along with Shannon McVeigh.
And we're fighting already.
I know.
Right at break. We're like, battle.
And listen, you know.
Why do we fight like brother and sister so much?
Well, because, you know, you just drive me crazy. You know,
And
I don't
all-
know. You make me want to drink, Shannon McVeigh.
And
So,
is that why we have production meetings in bars? All right, so you ready, guys? We're talking about being an alcoholic and
Yes.
in our society, how it's so accepted to drink.
Yes. And,
right?
Yes. And you had something you're going to share with us.
So this is crazy, but in moderation, this made me happy. Alcohol may be good for you. What are you thinking?
I'm
right?
thinking, they say one glass of wine, you know, and all that stuff. But, you know, but like, give me an example. What do you think?
It says many of the chemicals in the alcohol are good for you in low doses and toxic in higher doses.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
So something of the chemicals in the, I'm assuming the wine, it doesn't specifically say wine, but don't you think it's wine? Because haven't you seen all those old people in there, like they live to be 107 in Italy and they have a glass of wine each day?
Yes, I do. But
And sometimes you just need that to take the edge off. Just don't abuse it, guys. It's all moderation. It's okay to drink. Just do it in moderation.
well, good, Shannon, but it's so easy to say than do. I mean, come on. When can you stop with one glass of wine?
I totally can.
Okay.
Oh, I absolutely can.
Oh my God, you're so in denial. So
Tim, you don't think I can stop at one glass of wine? Like, really?
I think you actually can. You can stop.
Yeah.
I'm saying you can stop, but most people who do it cannot because they have the ability. They have the ability. They don't have the ability to judge when one or two drinks because they're going to go to the next one. And alcohol in itself deludes your thinking process and it confuses you. And when you don't realize how much you're drinking, you have I can handle another one, another one. Before you know, you're like, whoa, where am I?
Yeah.
You don't think that happens to most people? Because I do see you control yours, but do you see most people? Do you think that happens?
Yes. I think that you have to, but I think if you can't control it, then that's another issue that you need to examine of yourself, right? Self-examination.
Yes.
John Ross said some of the most motivating business decisions are made on a bar napkin. That's true.
Actually, I listen. In social settings, drinking like that is fine. It's when guys. This is. I had a abnormal psychologist professor in college, and he told me the difference between. He told me the difference between alcohol, a real alcoholic, and somebody who drinks, who goes from like drinking to the real alcoholism. And he says when you drink, like you have some stressful event in your life, right? And then after your event, you go out to a bar and you drink. That's one level of alcoholism, a much lighter version. But really, when it gets serious, is when you drink before your stressful situation. that is when you have a real problem with alcohol because one's a release.
Like you need liquid courage.
Exactly,
almost.
because now alcohol has become like, for example, when like guys, like they learn in college, guys or girls, I can't go out to talk to a girl unless I have some drinks in me. So the stressful event is after, right? And you're drinking before. Now, if you're sober and you go talk to the girl and then you drink with the girl after, then that's where you're relaxing, you're being a little more less anxious about it. But when you drink before your stressful event, that's when you got a problem. That's when it turns into a problem very quickly.
According to Tim Ray.
According to abnormal psychologist doctor, I can't remember his name.
Billy said alcohol was originally used as a medicine. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Aid says drinking tequila slow will cleanse the tummy. I've heard that. I heard that tequila is actually good for you.
Okay, guys, everyone will justify this, but bottom line is...
You need to stop hating on it.
I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying...
Because you drink. At least I'm honest about myself.
Wahid, Ashley, Otis...
Look at you bring Wahid in nervous, stutter.
Have I not admitted that I drink alcohol? Can I not have two different beliefs holding in my head?
Absolutely, Tim.
Thank you, Wahid.
I'm right there with you.
Thank you, my brother.
Wahid, do you drink alcohol?
Yes, from time to time.
Okay.
But he has a control.
Not like I used to.
Yeah, because that's growing. And guys, by the way, I'm not saying to be a drunk. I'm saying that it's okay in moderation. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with taking the edge off sometimes, especially if light is hard for each one of us. It's okay to have a glass of wine at night.
Okay, but isn't that a good rule of thumb, though, Shannon, to have it after your stressful situation, not before?
What?
Isn't it a good rule of thumb to have the alcohol?
No, you're not
drink?
supposed to drink when you're stressed. You're supposed to drink in celebration, I thought.
No, I'm saying after. Okay, but I'm saying if you are going to drink during either stress, wouldn't it be better to drink after the stressful situation rather than before the stressful situation?
Mm.
Yeah, that makes sense in theory.
All right,
Exactly,
in theory.
Then you're not codependent.
Well, yeah, exactly. Then now you can't deal with reality unless you're freaking drunk.
Oh, there goes gravity. Stacy said, I only drink when I'm out and having fun. I drink once or twice in a few month period, except when I went to Atlanta. I drank a lot on that trip.
I like her honesty.
I know, me too. So this is interesting. Alcohol affects men and women differently. Men and women metabolize alcohol differently due to the stomach enzymes, hormones, the ratio of fat to muscle, and water concentration in the body.
I didn't know that. Like, really? So, like, how does it?
So men are more likely to drink excessively and engage in high-risk behaviors.
Ah, so, but our enzymes meaning that what? What does it do? It eats them up, it breaks down the alcohol quicker or slower?
I don't know.
All right.
Dang it, doctor.
All right.
We don't know the history behind that. Research it yourself. Billy said, seriously, if you all want confessions of a chronic alcoholic, give me a call. We should.
All right.
Want to call him after this game?
Yeah,
what is
yeah,
this?
yeah,
Is this
yeah.
a game?
Yeah, alcoholic test. Yeah.
Should we do it?
Yeah, let's do this
All right,
test.
let's do it real quick.
Hey guys, Tribe Time. If you have ideas or thoughts on alcohol, give us a call. 678-495-4345.
All right. Ready, guys?
Yeah.
I want you all to play along. Tim Ray,
Yes.
do you sometimes drink more than you plan to drink?
Absolutely.
Okay, do I need to, Otis?
Yeah.
How do I do this?
Just
How
mark-
do I
just-
like?
just mark-
This is just a
it.
test that
Just
they
mark it.
actually give to see if you're alcoholic.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the official alcoholic test.
So how do
So
we?
guys, so everybody score yes or no. If
We're
you're
all
watching.
going to take this together. You
Yes.
don't have to share your number, but we'll share ours. We'll do it at our own
yeah,
expense.
absolutely. Okay, so
All right.
would you agree? Yeah, what's
So
your
wait, do
yes?
you drink more than you plan to drink?
Yes.
Number one, if I drink at all, I'll have only one or two before dinner. Number two, I'll occasionally I'll occasionally skip or delay meals to have a couple more drinks. No, not me. Do you?
Okay. No.
I love to eat.
Actually, hold on. I take that back. Sometimes at nighttime, if I'm going out and I'm like watching my weight, I'll make a liquid diet rather than eat food only because the calories and the sugar intake.
All right.
I do that.
Number three, sometimes a few with the boys or girls turns into an entire evening. Oh, of course, sometimes it does. All right, number
hold on,
four,
hold on.
I've been on
Look at your chest.
benders. I've been on benders the last few days.
Well, that was more like when I was younger, but
What would your answer be?
no, I don't do benders. But when I was in college and I remember drinking up until 6 o'clock in the morning
so
at
what's your
places, and
answer?
then continue drinking again for a couple days in a row.
That only is allowed on vacation.
Well, on vacation it does happen.
It's like I'm at the beach. Bloody Marys at 9 a.m.
Well, that happens.
And then it turns into Red Bull vodkas.
Or when I go to my Aunt Cheryl's house, one or the other.
They are so fun. Oh my God, your family. All right, so what's number? I choose number 3. What do you choose?
What's number 3? Read it. Sometimes a few.
A few drinks turns into an entire evening.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Keyword.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
Okay, next one.
Number 2, have you tried to quit drinking and were unsuccessful? So I don't want to quit. I enjoy an occasional drink.
Okay.
I've thought about quitting, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I've tried to control my drinking, but it doesn't work. Or I have tried to quit drinking many times. Me, I don't want to quit. I enjoy the occasional drink. What's your answer?
That's mine too. But
stop copying me.
But however, I thought about quitting, and it's not I haven't got around to it.
That's more your answer.
No. It's just I don't think it's very pragmatic for me because.
Okay, I'm giving you that answer. You're totally an alcoholic. All right.
Shannon's right in circling the ones that make herself not alcoholic.
I am not. I'm being 100% real and honest.
Good.
I will totally. You guys have had. Don't you know this about me? Like I give myself to the world.
What if the world doesn't want you?
Oh, please somebody take me. All right. How much time do you spend drinking each week? I only drink on special occasions. I only drink on weekends. I drink at least 3 times a night heavily, or I drink almost daily as soon as I get off work. That's hard. Like I mean, you don't give yourself a rule that you only drink on weekends. If you get home and you have a glass of wine at night.
Well, I very seldom ever drink like alone. Even when I come home, I very seldom will drink a drink unless I'm socializing with somebody. That's just me.
Yeah, so special occasions. Okay. Yeah, you drink on special occasions. Because you just said
yeah.
you don't.
Yeah. I don't drink weekends, but I drink.
All right.
I'm special occasions.
Do you get the urge to drink or have a craving for alcohol? No, I could take it or leave it. Sometimes I've gone a few days without a drink. I'll get the desire to drink. If I skip a day drinking, I'll have the urge to drink the next day, or I can't wait until happy hour. Depends on the day. Sometimes I'm like, when is happy hour?
I think on that question, where is it? Right here?
Yeah. No, right here.
Right here. I think sometimes I'll have a drink, and if I get a desire to drink, but like only time I really get a desire to drink, like I'll get like certain drinks I like to start drinking. Like I'm new to like Basil Hayden, but I'll like old fashions. I just love old fashions now, but I'll change it. It used to be
okay, but do you
Tokyo
feel like
Mules.
if you go a few days without drinking, you have a craving for it?
I don't know. I don't think so. If I forget about it, I forget about it.
Yeah, like I in the last 14 days, I probably drank twice.
I've had one old fashioned at the Georgia Nursing Home Association thing on Sunday, and that's it. I haven't drank in four days.
So what about you guys? All right, number 5. Do you miss work or school obligations due to drinking?
No.
Never.
No.
Never. So we don't even need to go to those.
Yeah, but for other people.
All right, fine. I don't remember missing work because of drinking.
Not all about you, Shannon.
I've gone in late because I was hungover. Sometimes I call in sick because I'm hungover, and I've lost jobs due to not showing up.
I know people have. I know people have done most of those things.
Really?
Yes.
Billy, since you're so open about being an alcoholic, you should tell us about you. Have you lost a job because of it? We're gonna call him probably around 7:20 if we can, if we're after our emails.
Yes.
All right. Have your drinking negatively affected your social or family relationships? No. Has you?
No.
Have you? Listen to my grammar. Some it says no. Number 2, sometimes I've embarrassed myself while drinking. Well, who hasn't?
Right.
I prefer to hang out with people who drink as much as I do. I've lost friends or relationships due to my drinking.
I think so. Yeah, me too.
No, I've never lost friends due to my drinking ever.
Oh, they're drinking, I was thinking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're like, I can't handle this.
I know. Yeah, seriously, it's like it's too much. And I don't like to be around that when it's too much because then, tell me, when people drink so heavily, I think there's possession going on. I think we have entities around us that also feed off on our
they come
addictions.
more when you're drinking.
Well, I think
Do you know that?
I
Yeah,
think
no,
so.
because you don't have as much of a stronghold as the armor of God. All right. Has drinking ever put you in dangerous situations? Yes, because I'm a woman.
God, absolutely. When I was younger, man, driving a motorcycle, oh my God. I know there angels exist just for that reason alone that I'm alive today. And I just, some of the stupidest things back then, the driving wasn't such a emphasized it is today. Thank God it is. But I really made some stupid decisions, and God, it's just terrible. Something I think about.
All right. Has drinking caused you any persistent health problems?
No.
So I don't drink often enough to affect my health. On days I drink, I don't sleep through the night. I find that I don't get over morning afters like I used to, or the doctors told me to cut down drinking.
I think for me.
Wait a second. Why does it say on days I drink, I don't sleep through the night? Doesn't drinking help you sleep? Because my wine helps me sleep.
No.
I'll have a glass of wine. Now I'm like,
not for me. If I
exhausted.
drink, I'll wake up in the middle of the night. I mean,
Really?
I have to have a sober sleep for me to get a good night's sleep.
Huh.
I do. But now unless you're just totally blitzed, but then you wake up with a hangover. Like just the hangover alone should be a discouragement for people to drink, don't you think?
Ooh, this last question's so good. Yeah, you're right.
What?
Does alcohol give you the same feeling? Number one, one drink helps me relax. 2, 3 beers used to do it, but now it takes a 6-pack. 4 or 3, geez, I was 17.
Oh my God.
I changed to liquor because wine wasn't giving me a buzz.
Wow.
Or I really feel intoxicated no matter how much I drink. See, for me, it's one drink helps me relax. What's yours?
Yeah.
You're definitely one drink helps you relax.
Yeah.
So I think I think that maybe alcohol, Billy, tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. I think it's a gene in you if you have the alcoholic gene. Because I feel like
I don't think it's a gene. I think it's a learned behavior. Now, you may be past
Yes, but I
opportunity.
can drink and I don't have these problems that other people that drink actually have.
If you know anything about alcoholics, alcoholism, my brother's a recovering alcoholic. He's 10 years plus sober. And let me tell you, he's told me everything. You'd be surprised how they define alcoholics. And most people are in denial that they're an alcoholic. When they say, hi, my name's Tim Ray, I'm an alcoholic. It's hard to say that. Like, can you say that? No, not many people could say that, mean that. But alcoholism is pervasive in both sides of my family and pervasive in my life to whatever degree. And my kids now suffer from, I don't say suffer, but they have access to alcohol and they think alcohol, because society sees alcohol as a acceptable reality. Now, are they crazy? No, they're not. I mean, they control themselves. But my point is, any given moment, they could slip into real alcoholism and start drinking before the stressful situation. And to me, that could be very dangerous, very scary for a whole society, because this is a societal epidemic, in my opinion. This is not just something. And if we're truly here, Shannon, as my rant here,
yes,
to understand and unfold our spiritual nature, who we are, and to connect to source, to God, then alcohol is only another distraction, one more distraction in its way.
Right. And you know what? If you're called to quit drinking, if something inside of you is saying maybe you should quit, then you should pay attention to that. I think that
you don't think you could be happy the rest of your life if you stop drinking.
Of course I can, because I'm Shannon Rose McVeigh, mofo.
Okay, but I really believe if there was a prohibition and they stopped drinking, I'd be like, it sucks. I really wish miss a old fashioned, but I'll get over it.
See, and me, I just enjoy the occasional drink.
I like the socialization. I like to have fun, laugh, and get crazy, and all that stuff.
You don't need it to like. I feel like we're lucky in a sense because we're 7s on the Enneagram. Like, we don't need it to walk into a place. Like, some people need it to get into a confident, liquid courage.
Yes.
Like, you and I can walk in a party, own the party, and we can be stone cold sober. Yeah. Do you know how many bars I got kicked out of stone cold sober? Not one drink. They're like, I'm sorry, ma'am, you're too loud. You got to get out of here. I'm like, what? F you, bro.
I can believe that.
Oh, it's awful. It's
can you imagine? Can you imagine Shannon at a bar, and getting kicked out because she's sober? Like, I haven't drank yet.
Yes.
No, I can't.
I know.
Oh,
I can. I can see that right now. And I can imagine the bartender's like, listen, if you're sober now, then I don't want to see you drunk, so get out now.
You're wrong. It's because I shared it. All right, we got some emails, and then we're going to call Billy.
All right, guys. Go listen. What do you got for email?
All right. We need your advice, people, because Tim and I are terrible at giving advice, even though we love that you guys trust us enough to give the advice. Okay. Hello, tribe. I don't want to give my name out, but greetings from Madison, Wisconsin. I don't think we've had an email from Madison, Wisconsin.
No, we haven't.
So welcome. Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. I respect the advice you give, and I wanted to get your opinion. I was having a conversation with my female cousin. She had a really bad breakup with her last boyfriend, and because of her experiences with men, she said she now wants to date women.
Oh, God. What
this
is
is so exciting.
This?
Hang on.
Another
Hush.
one. We lose
Hush.
another one to the other team.
Okay. I thought she was just being emotional, but 2 months later, she's actually dating women. Is this a thing? I fully support my cousin, whatever decision she wants to make, but can women that have bad experiences with men turn gay. It kind of debunks the argument that people are born gay.
Strippers.
No. Can I start it before you go into your rant?
Yeah.
This is the thing. I believe that sometimes when you're gay, it is 100% environmental. And then I believe that some people are genuinely born gay. I think that there's two sides. It's not so black and white. But for this situation, don't worry. She's going through a phase. She'll get out of it once she realizes, I wanted to say something, but I better be careful, that a woman doesn't have the same parts as a man, and she will find herself missing that. Right now, she's just so jaded from men.
Well, I'll tell you what. When there's sexual abuse, there's this, abandonment.
What does that do with sexual abuse?
I'm just saying, when there's sexual abuse and there's abandonment and it's severe, it can often turn people off from not trusting the opposite sex, and it's not so much a sexual desire to be with the same person, but it's a trust factor and a control factor in their lives that I don't trust men, so I'm not going to be with them. But women are very sensitive and trusting, so I think they're more likely to gravitate in that direction than before. So
I think my point.
No, my point.
No.
Because I think that there's so many different people that you have to be careful about it. But back to her point, I do think that most people probably in that environment could be bisexual. And if they're bisexual experiencing that, then so be it. But
do you think that a lot more women are more bisexual than men being bisexual?
I think that's true only because women are much more accepting, nurturing, forgiving, loving, tender.
And we get hurt
sweeter.
by a lot more men.
And a lot of men are insensitive, aggressive.
Women are prettier than men. Let's be honest.
Women are softer, prettier, hair,
That
eyes.
would never happen with a man. Like a man would never be like, oh, she did me wrong. I think I'm going to try guys now.
Right. No, you're right. But women, I think there's something to it. We're designed differently. And I got to be careful with what I say because I don't want feminists to hate me. But I do believe we are more, how do I say this, politely or politically correct. Sensitive. There we go. We're more sensitive.
Well, of course you're more sensitive. Why is that politically correct? I mean, I agree wholeheartedly
because
with that,
of what I was going to say.
Well, but my point being is that you have to, environment plays 95% of everything that we experience, guys. 5% genetics. Dr. Bruce Lipton, the rest will tell you that. You can deny that. You think there's a gay gene or a gene for alcoholism. It's not so much a gene. There is certain DNA transfers, meaning in our DNA from past lives or generational, let's just say past generations, but it's always behavioral created. So our behavior creates it, and it does get encoded in the DNA, but it's behavioral created. And so, and there may be some past life experience there that's being coded. Who knows? I'm not going to go there. But as of today, there's no gene found that says you are an alcoholic gene or a gene found that says you are a gay. But the point is environment plays a big factor, whether this generation or the past.
Okay. Renata said it's 50-50 here. Women make her feel safe. So if she stays there long enough, it may become her new identity.
It does, because this is called neuropathways. This is neuroplasticity. You change your brain patterns and your brain you create new experiences. That's why people who are watching a lot of porn or gay porn or whatever it may be can be exposed to that and change your neuropathways. And also now you think what was not normal for you is normal now. This is what's happening in our whole society.
Well, Patrick said, articulate distinction between pansexual and bisexual. And what role may alcohol play in that? What is pansexual, Pat? What is it?
Pan's like everywhere.
Come on, you know this.
Pan's anything.
This is your people, right? Your kind.
Right?
It means you don't look at gender. You don't really care about the person's gender.
Actually, smart.
So wait, what does that mean? Like you don't.
So like
you just like a person?
Yeah, for who
love
they are.
Is love type thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then bisexual just means, but so it's the same thing.
I mean, it's essentially, but also nowadays, there are multiple genders, right? So
you can't be bisexual, male, female. Now you want to be with a half man, half woman, or a full man, full woman who used to be a man, woman. It's called pan. Pan covers it all.
Yeah.
It's like,
do we have a call?
It's like LGBTQ now. Like queer includes everybody.
Don't even go where you were just.
I'm just saying it's more inclusive of it now. Yeah.
All right. So I think she's going to come out of that stage.
I think so too. She may just bring a girlfriend home with her husband and live in a polyamorous threesome relationship for the rest of her lives.
Yes. And should we get into the other email or should we call Billy? Because I feel like we should call Billy because of the time. We only have 6 minutes left.
We'll call him, but let's do it quick.
Well, we have a video on this.
Oh, let's watch the video.
Okay, fine. All right. Good morning, tribe. My name is Jerry from Iowa. OMG, did you watch the Super Bowl? Did you see the Verizon 5G commercial? I immediately thought of you, Tim Ray. The funny thing is, they actually never said that it was 5G. I'm anxious to hear your opinion of the commercial. Is this brainwashing? All right, let's play the commercial. Can we do that, Otis? So we can see it?
Okay. Yeah, and listen, and that's part of it. You know, by the way, they just came out past law. The Congress just passed $4 million to start investigating or researching chemtrails.
Finally, it's happened to me.
Yeah, but they're telling us because of climate warming, and it's bogus, guys. Don't fall for it. It's all part of the scam.
Hey, at least they're getting a job done. At least they're doing something about it.
Oh my gosh! Get me a drink. All right, we're ready when you are.
This year, you're going to hear a lot about what 5G will do. How it could help firefighters see through smoke, connect ambulances with hospitals in real time, give rescuers new tools to locate survivors. But this isn't a commercial about what 5G will do. It's about what 5G will never do. 5G won't replace the courage it takes to run into the fire. It won't make the decision to become an officer any less selfless, or have any impact on what's required to put others' lives before your own. It can't take the place of bravery or substitute for compassion. It will never be the reason people make the choice to serve. 5G is going to change a lot of things, but luckily for all of us, not everything.
So the propaganda has began, and this is something that I think get used to it, guys. They're going to make the chemtrails be positive. It's helping our climate. They're going to make 5G a very helpful, great thing. As we,
I have a headache. I have a headache because of the 5G. Oh my gosh, it's coming in.
As our chronic illnesses rise because of the 5G and the chemtrails, and we're being sold a lie on a daily basis, this is what's going to happen.
Do you feel like you have soul, but you're not a soldier?
Of course. Yeah, I got soul. I'm a soldier for the real America.
All right, let's take the call. I love that 5G talk.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to Awaken Atlanta.
Hey, it's Wild Bill, Dallas, Texas. How y'all doing today?
Wild Bill. I'm so glad you called because you are an open alcoholic. Can I say that right? Because you say it all the time, but I don't know if it's that. All right.
So Billy, tell me your opinion about the alcoholic culture, and then we'll get into if you want to talk a little bit about your experience.
I will, but first I want to talk about J-Lo and Shakira.
All right, but you got to go fast because we only have a couple minutes, and I really want to hear about your alcohol.
I'm going fast. I'm just saying those women are awesome, and everybody should appreciate the performance of the Super Bowl.
I concur, man.
All right. So
anyway, going into alcoholism.
Yeah.
People drink to forget. They don't drink to remember. Okay?
Okay.
So, Shannon, what I'm saying is that you and I both have instances in our lives that you've been open about, so I'm going to go ahead and say it on air, is that, we've both been sexually molested in the past as kids.
Right.
By people we trusted.
Right.
All right? So when it stems from that kind of stuff. And, yeah, and Tim's right, when you start drinking at the high school age or college age or whatnot, it feels good because you're forgetting all the bad stuff that happened to you.
Because it's trauma that you didn't deal with, basically, is what you're saying. So you just learn to self-medicate.
Well, and Billy, I agree with you to a certain degree, but I also think that a lot of people who are not focused on their trauma. A lot of people have trauma and they want to forget, but a lot of college kids, it's not so much the trauma, but it's the excitement of the alcohol and the environment and the party and the guys and the girls. That's often very enticing, and then you develop into a crutch over time.
Yes, but what about Billy? What about the occasional drinker? Do you think that there is such thing as the occasional drinker? Somebody that just wants...
Absolutely. No, absolutely. If you're an occasional drinker, you're an occasional drinker. I mean, but the real question here is what develops an alcoholic? And if you're an occasional drinker, fine.
That's a good question. What does develop an alcoholic?
I believe when you start avoiding stressful situations, it really takes over. And I think
that's something we have to ask our star
expert,
that's coming on.
Yes.
Lisa's going to be on in 2 minutes, guys, and she'll explain it all to us.
All right. So, hey, Billy, thanks for calling in. And, go J-Lo. Is that you want to say?
Wait, real quick, what? Billy, how is your journey going right now? Real quick. Do you have it under control or are you still struggling?
My journey's going very well. And I have to give a special shout out to Renata Mizzou, who helped me uncover my past and help me get through what I've been through in my life. So, special shout out to her.
She's actually watching on Facebook right now, and she said, Billy, I'm so proud of you.
That's wonderful.
I know.
That's
all
wonderful.
Right, y'all have a great show.
I'll be
Billy. Listening and talking.
Thanks, Billy. Donna says, so agree with you, Tim. 5G is reminiscent of ads from the 80s. This is your brain on drugs. Yeah, guys, it's going to get worse. And I'll tell you what. Until we wake up as a culture that we don't
sorry for that drunk
have the best
from talking about alcohol to back to 5G.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, is it not all the same?
Way to segue, Tim.
Is it not all the same?
You're a professional.
Is it not all the same?
All right, why don't you tell us who's coming on when we get back from break?
Yes, guys, we have the Awaken star, Lisa Bourget, I should say. She's an award-winning author. Boucher. That's a French name. Boucher.
She'll correct it when she comes on.
There you go. She's a award-winning author, and hear about her alcohol experience, guys.
So if you guys have any questions for her, make sure you write them in, and we'll be sure to ask for you. We'll be right back with Awaken Atlanta.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Hi, I'm Tim Ray, founder of the United Intentions Foundation, where we offer resources and programs to help others awaken to the power of their intentions. One of the ways we get this great message out is through our UI Media Network, which is a platform for people to share their stories and wisdom on air on how they live a life with intent.
2020 is the year of clarity, so help us activate more programming and resources that provide you with the information and education you need to see things more clearly. Raise the frequency with UI Media Network.
We are so grateful to this incredible cast of paradigm shifters who are authentically changing this world on a global scale.
Go to uimediaapp.com and donate today.
It's the perfect hour, and the stars are aligned. These conscious superstars are here to brighten your day. Listen to their stories as they connect, motivate, and build you from the bottom up. It's inspiration time with our Awakened Stars.
Welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. I'm Tim Ray, your host, along with Shannon McVeigh, and we're having a great time talking about alcoholism and the epidemic of it. And guys, we have our Awaken star coming in, Lisa Bourget, and she is a not only, I assume, maybe a past alcoholic, but also award-winning author. We will find out, and she'll correct us if I'm mistaken. So hello. How are you, Lisa?
Good morning. Good morning, Shannon and Tim. How are you?
I am so happy that you're on. Did you watch by chance some of the questions we were asking about the whole alcoholic epidemic?
I was. Yes, I was listening in and I'm like, okay, wait, we've got a little differences of opinions here.
Yes.
That's why I'm on the show.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. So you did pretty well with the
Boucher. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, okay. So tell us your experience with alcohol.
All right. So I've been sober 30 years.
Oh, wow.
So I've been doing this a long time. I'm also a registered nurse. So I'm working in that environment where I'm seeing a lot of people flood hospitals with alcohol and drug-related issues. So I agree with some of what you said, that it is trauma. There's a lot of alcoholism in people that have had past traumas. However, there's also alcoholism in people that were raised by great parents, had nothing happen to them, and why did they become alcoholic? So I happen to think it is a genetic. I know, Tim, you think it's behavioral. It can be a combination.
I think it's a combination.
Sure. I mean, if you're a child that's raised in a home where the parents are drinking constantly, you're probably going to start drinking in high school. And your chances, if you start drinking before the age of 15, you are 4 times more likely to become an alcoholic. So it is something, if we keep practicing anything, we're probably going to do that.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about that statement? I was raised by basically an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I didn't drink, like truly drink until I was 21, legal age.
Well, but I heard that you have a trauma history.
I do, yes.
So what was going on? Were you suffering with a lot of anxiety? Did you have, you know what I'm saying? I know women.
I was such a happy kid. Like I didn't even I didn't need to drink, I guess. I didn't have the desire to drink to run away from anything even in high school.
Probably because you saw your mother drinking and it turned you off.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah. I think that it could turn you off because you're like, I don't want to be like that.
I think. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, this real quick, and I'll pose this question to you here, Lisa, because I do believe there are some generational passed on down that behavior that does get encoded into your DNA to whatever degree. But if it's not triggered in your environment, it may never be expressed. So same thing with cancer cells. If it's not triggered in your environment, it doesn't need to be expressed. But I do believe our environment often triggers on a genetic level certain expressions of certain behaviors, such as alcoholism.
Well, yes and no, but like with Shannon, okay, I think she had a genetic predisposition coupled with the trauma. And so I know many people that didn't start drinking till they were 30.
Right.
And within 3 years, they're full-blown alcoholics.
Oh, wow.
That was, it was in their DNA. Genetically, they were predisposed to it. So once they started drinking, the brain, it's in the amygdala, it's in our brain, is where this addiction piece resides. So it is a brain disease. And some people say, no, it is not. Well, yes, it is. It is scientifically proven. It is a brain disease residing in the amygdala, which is this little part inside the brain. So when you put alcohol, and if you are going to be an alcoholic, my mother was an alcoholic. So I had the genetic predisposition, some trauma of a different nature than what you experienced, but very chaotic upbringing, very a lot of instability, emotional, some physical, mental abuse with my father. So, there was just a lot going on.
Right.
And I think I started drinking rather young because I had older sisters. You start experimenting, and pretty soon that becomes your coping skill. And you like the way it makes you feel.
I'm curious as to drinking, because alcohol is a depressant. So if you're in that field, how many times do you see people coming in to get on some sort of an antidepressant, anti-anxiety, but they're still drinking? Do those go hand in hand?
Absolutely. And it happens constantly. And there is such a disconnect with physicians. I can count literally on one hand the number of doctors that truly understand addiction. And I know in my book, I have a lot of physicians in there that flat out, I have an ER doctor, I have a surgeon, I have an internal medicine. All 3 of them were like, we knew nothing about addiction until it happened to them.
Wow.
So this is what we're up against. And this is why people are not getting the help that they need. And I still see it today. I still work a couple days a week. So I am in medicine to know what's going on.
Right.
And constantly people have drugs and alcohol in their histories. It is rarely addressed. The doctors put them on medication and more medication and more medication. And these people do not get well and they do not recover.
That's Billy. Billy went to rehab and he said that it was like a drug dealer because they got him off of alcohol, but they just kept giving him so many drugs over the counter.
So I do believe the alcoholism programs are probably wanting because they're not addressing with the core issue why people are drinking in the first place. But let me ask you this question on a larger scale, Lisa. Alcohol is legal. Alcohol is cultural now. I mean, it's a rite of passage in many ways for young kids to get involved in drinking alcohol. In fact, the peer pressure of not drinking alcohol can be pretty strong and pretty alarming. So, do you see alcoholism as at epidemic levels, not only in the States but around the world?
Absolutely, it is a global issue. We have more alcoholism. It's off the charts, and it is because of our culture has made it so acceptable, too acceptable. Think back. I know when I was raising, I have twin boys, so they're 30 now. But when I was raising them, I got sober back in 89. So there was alcohol. It was always around in my neighborhood. With my husband still drinks, etc. However, you didn't have moms going to the park drinking. You didn't have moms having play dates drinking wine. So this is all relatively new within the last, 5-10 years. We have lowered the bar so much. It's pathetic. I don't know how else to say it, because these young women that started drinking in high school, they are emotionally, maybe they're 30 and they're having children. Emotionally, they're still 15.
Yeah.
So they're using drinking. Our emotional growth stops when we start drinking. So these women, it explains a lot of the crazy behavior that you see within sports, that you see with mothers who can't handle anything.
Stripper poles.
Kids at one point, and I've had teenagers say to me, "My mom can't handle anything." How sad is that?
Because they learned that from their dad, probably saying that. Do you believe in that? The occasional drink is fine. Do you believe that people can be occasional drinkers, or do you think it should just be wiped off?
No, I think there are people that absolutely are not alcoholic. They are social drinkers, but I think that definition is getting a little blurry, because a lot of people that drink daily will walk around saying, "Oh, I'm a social drinker." Well, actually, that's not social drinking. So, but there are those people that can have an occasional drink, or they drink a couple times a week, a little bit.
All right. So just because I am a mother, so I have to point this out.
Do you have wine parties in the park?
I have definitely I've definitely had play dates where we drink rosé and we're at the pool. But you're not drunk.
I know, but that was not accepted, years ago.
But I'm just saying, do you think that could be kind of a judgment for people that are healthy, that just they unwind with their girlfriends and they have a glass of wine with their friends while their kids are playing? Why the judgment there?
So, okay, here's what I say about that. Number one, who's driving the kids home?
Yeah, well, I agree with that.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let's just look at it.
Right.
And two, we want to be good role models for our kids. So if your kids grow up seeing you hanging out with friends drinking wine, how do you say to them at 13 when they start going to parties with, how do you say to them, drinking is not good, don't drink? I mean, what are we role modeling?
Yeah.
And I feel like you go to a 3-year-old's birthday party, Shannon, and there's alcohol all over the place, the beer and the wine. Why? Why has it become so much more about the mommy party than the kids?
Because being a mother is freaking hard, and sometimes you just need to unwind.
But alcohol makes it harder.
In the long run.
I think if you abuse it, but there's a moderation
hold
here.
on, Lisa, tell us why it makes it harder.
Because you don't feel well, number one. Number two, it's a depressant. So you don't feel well. You're trying to perk yourself up and you're drinking a depressant. It will make you more tired. It's not, it causes cancer. I don't know if you realize that, but it is a class 1 carcinogen. So we have all these young moms dying of breast cancer that are drinking wine every day. It's not healthy. So, you know what I'm saying? And I get what I always say is, like, if you're truly a social drinker, then why do you need to drink around your kids? Why is that? It shouldn't be an issue for you not to drink around your children and set a better example if you're not an alcoholic or don't have, there's a continuum here. It's like a bell curve. 15 million people are on this continuum. So it doesn't mean everybody that is drinking obviously is an alcoholic, but we can have alcohol abuse, we can have alcohol misuse, and we can have alcohol dependence.
Yes. It is easy to go down that road. And that's why, again, I want to reiterate that it's okay in my opinion, it's okay in moderation.
But in reality, don't you agree, Lisa, that most people are in denial about their alcoholic levels of consumption, or at least whatever it may be, and they will use, I'm a social drinker, and 9 out of 10 times it's more likely that they're more than just a social drinker or a casual drinker.
Right. Like I said, I think we've lowered the bar. I mean, I was doing another radio show, and the host was up in Virginia, up in the northeast part of the country, and she said she was at a microbrewery and was just stunned at how many people were there with their little kids.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of new. I mean,
it is new.
To jam their kids in strollers and sit there drinking for 3 hours. I mean, what are we doing? Why is that necessary? Is that normal? We've made it normal, but I don't think that's normal.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what your spiritual inclination is, but I think there's a tie there, and I'll love to get your opinion on it too. I think the more, like my brother, he's sober 10, 11 years at this point, and he's didn't lose it. Like a lot of people who go sober, sometimes they lose their edge, they lose their funniness, they become very boring, they become very, in a box. But he didn't. He's still humorous. He's a little more serious, but he's still humorous and he's still doing his thing. But with all that being said, whether you're drinking or not drinking, do you believe alcohol, and we could talk about many other addictions, let's just focus on alcohol, takes you away from getting connection with who you are, your higher self, a source, God, whatever it may be? It actually numbs it or distracts yourself from getting to know perhaps your spiritual self.
Absolutely. Alcoholism is like a disease of the soul. The hole in the soul, you're filling it up. It's like, what am I lacking within me that I need to keep filling myself up with something outside of me? So there's an absolute link. I think I have a very different spirituality now than I had when I was drinking. I've always believed in God, but there was a total disconnect there. So it's a very different way of living.
Well, can you share a little bit of it just to give people like understanding of how you were when you're drinking, how you are now not drinking? Your spiritual connection.
I think when I was drinking, I had a lot more fear. I had a lot more projecting into the future, control. It seems like I haven't met an alcoholic yet that doesn't have a lot of control issues. And it's just trying to feel better and to feel more secure, maybe in your environment. So I think when at least most of the people over the 30 years that I've been sober, and the many, many people that I've worked with and know, they all have found their way in spirituality. Many have gone from not believing and saying they were an atheist to believing in God. Many have.
Do you think that's thanks to AA because AA is so spiritual?
Well, it's not really. It's not a religious.
I mean,
it's a higher power.
Yeah, it clears the wreckage for people to find that spiritual. I know my mother, like I said, she hit a very low bottom, and that's why I think I did not. And we were raised Catholic, and you're trotting off to church and all that. There's nothing spiritual about that, really. She found a very different connection through working the 12 steps. It brought her to a path to God because you're clearing away all of this garbage, the things that you did that you're ashamed of, the things that you didn't do maybe.
You know what I've noticed as an outsider looking in? A lot of people that are recovering alcoholics, I feel like they go from one extreme to the next extreme. There's like no middle ground. Like 1 minute they're getting high and partying and the next minute they're like huge Jesus thumpers and you're just like, what just happened?
I don't see that. That's not been my experience at all, really.
And then you also said something about control. You said that you haven't met an alcoholic that didn't have a control issue. That confuses me a little bit. I'd like you to explain because I feel like alcohol lets you lose control and like be loose. So what do you mean by control issue?
Okay, well, I'm not talking about once you're drinking because you're right. You lose control once you're drunk. I'm talking beforehand. So alcoholics want to control everything. They want to control other people, places, and things. They want to control outcomes. They will manipulate to try to get the outcome they want. Often that backfires. Then you're just like, there's this internal struggle that never stops. And the alcohol pretty much calms the noise in the head. Calms I'm not getting what I want. Or you'll see people, just even look at all the toxic relationships that alcoholics will get in. And they will hang on trying to make something work that is never going to work.
Great point, yes.
Accepting it and looking at reality, they're going to force their will on this situation, on this person, and it backfires. So you're drinking more because it's not blowing up.
Right, yes.
So Lisa,
you're right.
It's another distraction for perhaps making better decisions, learning to be connected to your source, to self. Do you, in your book, Raising the Bottom, do you discuss that solutions to this, or you just kind of bring the problems to light?
Well, I think I talk about solutions regarding with the 12 steps, because that is where I have like 10 other women, and there's a couple guys in there. So it's for men too that share their stories and what happened. And the focus really of my book is I wanted to gather people, women in particular, and men that didn't look like they could have a problem. Because so many people tend to think that the alcoholic, the stereotypical guy under the bridge with the trench coat and this is not what alcoholics look like. They look like me, they look like you, they look like anybody. And so I wanted to tap into the people that are still working, doctors and nurses and mothers and
the functioning alcoholics.
Exactly, because we don't, like I said, we've normalized alcoholism in our society. So people walk around who are clearly alcoholic, swearing that they're still a social drinker.
Yeah. So, I think that's the biggest lie there is. I think a lot of us who say I'm just a social drinker.
But that's because of the epidemic, right?
Well, that's because
the acceptance of it.
It's acceptance.
Exactly.
Acceptance. So how do you, like, we just had the halftime, and Beyonce or J Lo's on the doing a stripping
Here we
pole.
go.
I'm just
Needs
saying
to get his point across. He's going to beat it into each one of us.
I'm just saying that you lower the bar. Same thing with alcoholism. You lower the bar, and we're modeling. Children are modeling this. They see us drinking. They see our mom on a stripper pole. They think this is okay. They think this is what I should grow up to be like. I should be drinking. This is why we have an epidemic in alcoholism. This is where we are. We're sliding down this path here, unknowingly, the frog in the warm water. So if that is to be true, Lisa, what are the solutions on a societal level? I mean, how do you turn this ship around, man? Because it's legal and it is glorified.
It is glorified. So the only way we are really going to turn it around is one person at a time needs to start pushing back. For instance, the moms that want to go on play dates, somebody needs to be the adult in the room and say, why are we doing this? Why do we need to drink in front of our kids? Why don't we have a girls' night out? Go out, drink, have your fun, do whatever you want to do. But let's decide when we're with our kids, we're not going to role model a drinking culture. That's a great place to start. Same with guys. When you have your kids or you're out as a family, I had one woman, she said she knew she was drinking too much when her daughter said to her, I guess they were out to dinner as a family at a Mexican restaurant. And she said, the little girl said, are you guys going to have margaritas again?
Oh.
The kids notice. They're sick of it. And they notice there's a change in your personality.
Yes.
Become very self-absorbed and selfish when you're drinking. Now it's all about you. So why do we need to do this? And if just one mom at a time would push back and one dad at a time would push back, and so many of them don't, let me just make this point. They don't because they're afraid. They're afraid they're going to be ostracized from their friends. And you know what? We need someone to say, I don't care, then ostracize me. And that's how I was. I was ostracized a lot. I was one of the very few sober moms back in 1989, believe me. And there were a lot of people eventually that I didn't get invited to things or whatnot. That was fine. I'm very proud, and my kids are so grateful. They tell me all the time, Mom, thank God you were the way you were.
Right.
I saved them from a lot of issues, and I role modeled something that they know. If they get into trouble with alcohol, they know what recovery looks like. They know that you can have a great life, a lot of fun. And Tim, you made a comment about people get, they're more dour when they're sober. That is not my experience either. When people that I know get sober, including myself, I found my writing gift.
Yes, you're clear-minded.
Exactly. I am so busy. That there's that fear when I quit drinking. The biggest fear of any alcoholic is I won't have any fun.
Right.
And it's crazy how we all think that way, but I'm having so much more fun because I'm engaged in so many more things.
So I have a question about the epidemic of marijuana now coming, because I've seen so many moms saying, oh, you drink your wine. What's wrong with me smoking? Do they still say doobies?
Joint, doobies.
Okay. I don't know. Is that
reefer.
I'm all of a sudden
Blunts.
60 years old. But do you see
the reefer? They smoke the reefer.
Do you see that happening more and more with moms? Like they're still getting high, so they're not sober-minded.
Right. Well, they're switching addictions. And let me just tell you, it's getting extremely scary. I'm still, like I told you, I'm still working in a hospital. I've seen more in the last 3 years marijuana-induced psychosis, where these people are crazy.
I'm so glad you're admitting this.
Well, let me tell you why. Because back in the day when I'm going to admit, yes, I tried pot back. I never really liked it because
you didn't inhale.
No, I inhaled.
It makes me paranoid.
It was 5% THC, you guys.
Yeah.
It was 5% THC. Now it's 15, 25.
Oh, I was like, how did you know that?
How did I know what?
How do you know the amount of THC?
They tell you now in Colorado. They tell you it's 15%.
They tell you, right. I mean, back then, and there's research, there's a little bit of data on it, not much research.
You smoked oregano.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, I didn't see anybody coming to the hospital who was psychotic.
Right. It's linked. It's linked to schizophrenia. Absolutely. And people aren't understanding that. They think that it's completely okay. Well, it is scary.
And they say it's not addictive. And I have doctors say marijuana is addictive. So before we get too far off, I want to stay on alcoholism because alcohol is much more accepted than marijuana, although marijuana is becoming more accepted.
Yeah.
But this is where I think that, to me, this is where I think the focus needs to be. And I want to talk about your book here and tell me if any of this is addressed in your book at all, okay? Is, in my humble opinion, alcohol, sex, drugs, whatever it may be, jobs, food, everything's a distraction from getting to know our soul and allowing our soul to really manifest a spiritual heaven on earth here. And so the more we get caught up into these addictions, especially alcohol, since it's probably the most predominant one, the less likely we're able to express who we truly are on a much higher level self. If do you address any of that? Do you see that even being an issue as you go through this this process of sharing your beliefs about alcohol?
Yes, I address it in the chapter. There's spirit in the rocks and wind. So, like I said, it's a hole in the soul. People, it's a disease of lack of connection. It's a disease of connection with not only people, but a higher power, a God, a spiritual connection. You cannot find that connection when you're filling yourself up and numbing your emotion.
Yes.
And so most people drink or drug because of the emotional pain of some sort that they cannot cope with, don't want to look at. It hurts too much to uncover. It's just easier to self-medicate.
So I think you gave us some pretty attainable goals for people that are drinkers, socially occasional, or however they want to claim it. Like even me, like don't drink in front of your children. That's a good solution, right?
Yeah,
that's a good. Yeah. So what can you say to give us some good solutions, but also
other steps you can tell us to step our way out of alcoholism.
Well,
but also be okay with social drinking.
Outside of the 12 steps, getting in a program, some things that we could do right now in your home, people could do to
that's attainable.
Oh, you could start one. People could be honest with themselves, right? We are very good at rationalizing and lying to ourselves, saying, "Oh, I only had 2," when really you've had 4.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody.
What is it? The laundry room closet. You have a bottle of. I was at my Bible study week, and fun fact, and I was like, should I hide a bottle of wine? I didn't have to hide it, but I mean, I was going to. I was willing.
Give me that wine, Shannon. Shannon, hide the wine. Go get her. Go wrestle her.
You've got to be honest. So are you drinking 2 20-ounce drinks saying, "Oh, I've only had 2"?
Right.
Right. So stuff like that.
20-ounce drinks. Right there. That's good though. Yeah.
So being honest is a first step.
With yourself.
With yourself.
And if you can't be honest, that should be a red flag warning.
Yes.
Like, why can't I be honest? If it scares you to go anywhere, to walk into a party without a drink under your belt, that's another red flag. Why do I not feel good enough about myself that I can't walk into a room unless I've already had 2
liquid
drinks
courage? Right.
So, right. So look at those kinds of things. Again, when you're with your kids, if you're at Christmas dinner, there's nothing wrong with your kids seeing you have a glass of wine. right? We're having a celebration. But every time you're with your kids and you go to dinner or you take them anywhere, do you need to be drinking? Are you taking your kids to microbreweries and sitting there 3 hours justifying it while they're bored out of their minds?
Kind of how I was raised.
You know, I have a girlfriend. She's one of the best women I've ever known, and she does that. She does the brew thing, and I do see it. It's crazy. You walk into one of these places, there's so many babies. There's so many babies there and kids there. But I don't want to judge it either, though. I don't want to be like somebody on the outside looking in and saying you're a bad mom.
Don't we have to judge?
No, but
at some
she's not.
point?
She's the best mom ever.
No, but I'm saying,
She just, who cares? To me, it's like, who cares? Because I know she doesn't have a problem.
How about we use the word discernment? Can't we discern? Say, listen, maybe I shouldn't drink in front of my child because the best way to change somebody's behavior is modeling. You know?
Yeah, it's a do as I do, not as I say, which is the best way.
So, so do you have a copy of your book that you could show us? We got it. We're gonna be coming.
I do.
All right, good.
And Shannon, let me just say this too.
Yes.
Alcoholism, it's a progressive disease. So maybe your friend doesn't have a problem now, but if she keeps drinking heavily, by the time her kids are 16, she might.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, nobody starts off as an alcoholic. And I talk a lot about that in my book, that you're not going, I mean, there's a few people that say they knew right off the bat that they were an alcoholic. But for most of us, it gradually sneaks up and then it grabs you by the throat.
Yep.
So if you're someone, you might be a fantastic mom, but if you're parenting and drinking, how fantastic is that?
Yeah.
Why can't you not drink in front of your kids?
Exactly right. Lisa, we're running out of time here, but I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Real quick here, people could reach you where?
raisingthebottom.com, and I'm on Twitter, Instagram at raisingthebottom or L Boucher author.
Thank
Lisa
you,
Boucher,
Lisa.
thank you so much. You're wonderful.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
Yes.
All right,
We'll see you. And you guys that are still with us, uimediaapp.com, 99.1 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to share it. We have our good news. Go ahead.
That's it. I just love Lisa. Bye. We'll see you in a minute.
Bye.
Awaken stars. Does your health really matter? Join Atlanta-based chiropractor and naturopath Dr. Nelson Bulmash as he takes a fresh look at today's most interesting health topics with functional medicine's leading doctors and experts. Learn how to feed your mind, exercise your body, and nurture your spirit in the way nature intended. Catch him live every other Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on WDJY 99.1 FM. On Facebook Live at United Intentions and on the official United Intentions Spreaker channel. Consider your appointment with Dr. Bulmash booked because your health matters. What's happening, world? It's time to dive into local and national news topics that are guaranteed to put a positive spin on your day. Join us as we discuss impactful headlines and local events designed to enrich your life. Enjoy your cruise with good news.
All right, welcome back to Awaken Atlanta. I am Tim Ray, your host with Shannon McVeigh, and we are talking about alcoholism and alcohol. And now we're going to get into our good news. But first, I thought Lisa was brilliant. You know, 30 years sober. She's so articulate. She's very determined, and she's very you can't argue with somebody like that. How do you argue? Lisa,
I felt like there was a little bit of a judgment for certain things. I don't think it's fair to sit back and say you shouldn't take your kids to microbreweries and things like that when I don't. Why is that such a judgment? That their parents, being a parent is really freaking hard.
Shannon, we model what you see every day. You model. I was raised in a bar. You were too. And
I know. Look how great I turned out.
My point is, was it necessary? Did we learn? My drinking behaviors was learned back then. Yeah, I think so.
I just don't think it's okay to sit back and judge. Like if moms they're in a safe environment and they have a drink and they're not driving, whatever.
Well, guys, listen.
It's so easy to like sit back and say you're wrong. What you're doing is so wrong.
Shannon, it is an epidemic because no one's doing that.
I didn't think she was judging. I just think we are living in a space where we have drinking culture and we're not really thinking about it.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of like, and I guess when you really sit back, like, you know, there's a song, shot. Like they're literally telling you take shots. Like when you go to these clubs and you see kids.
I mean,
it's
you're not
like,
doing that in front of your kids, but if
What
you
am
have a
I
glass
saying?
of
Both
wine,
my boys get caught up in the shots.
But I guess
I hate that.
Not necessarily doing it in front of your kids or the mom brewery thing, the microbrewery thing. It's just that when you sit back, like, wow, we really do drink a lot. Like I had,
Right.
to, we drink a lot. And
Right.
when you look at the test, there's a lot of things like, do you drink sometimes more than you intended to drink? Like, yeah,
hey,
that's happened to
Ashley,
me.
can you go get me some Jaeger for my coffee? Stacey said she doesn't like it when women try to shame other women, saying you're a bad mom for having a glass of wine in front of them. That's a good point.
Oh, okay, guys.
You can't.
That's not what she said.
That's
No,
not
no,
what
time
she's
out.
saying.
It reminds me of when we first started Awaken Atlanta, and you and Michael said that it's so wrong for moms to work. That moms, do you remember saying this? You're like, moms should stay home with the kids.
Well,
They shouldn't be working.
well,
That's a judgment. Like, you have no idea what goes on behind closed doors. If that mom needs a glass of wine to be a better parent, who cares?
nobody needs alcohol.
Oh, come on.
We choose to drink alcohol.
I'm just saying, like, let's stop judging.
Sounds like somebody's in denial.
I just think I'm a mom and I take offense to it.
well,
Again,
I
it's
don't.
it's not
I'm
judgment.
a dad, and I don't take offense to it.
It's not judgment, but just to say that, like, you need a glass of wine to be a parent.
No,
I'm not
sometimes
judging
you
it,
do. Sometimes you
that's-
need to take the edge.
Or learn better coping skills.
You know what?
You know,
that goes
cognitive
back to my
coping
point
skills.
with how many moms are on antidepressants. Because what is it? A man is supposed to give his energy to the woman, so the woman can give the energy to the children.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
What if you don't have that man? And you're exhausted and you're tired, and sometimes you just need a bubble bath and a glass of wine.
Okay.
But it's
Stop
almost
judging that.
the same thing as saying, like, I need a joint to be a better parent.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging.
I
I'm
am
just
not-
saying
I
that's
need to- I
kind
need
of
to
the
try-
same.
I need a
we'll
micro-
agree to disagree.
I need a microdose on magic mushrooms.
Billy said, Tim, ... stop.
Look at you guys.
Patrick said, dear friends, had a full bar and taps at home. We enjoyed being there. And then my phone just went off.
Right.
So basically, I don't know. Diana said her message is to watch for the signs that take you from an occasional drinker to a drinker with a problem. And I think that's what is important here.
Exactly.
But that's what I wanted to reiterate. Let's stop. I don't want to shame moms because I am one. I'm a mom that has wine. So I just don't want to shame other moms like me. You know what I mean?
I do
All
know
right,
what you mean.
Fine. News time.
All right, good news, guys. We got a lot going on out there these days. So what do you got for us, Shannon?
So, talking about drinking and marijuana, did you guys know that there was a medical marijuana ad that was rejected from a Super Bowl commercial and they offered to pay $5 million? And get this, it was an emotional commercial of 3 real people that were not abated by traditional medicine. A man became addicted to opioids because he was a veteran with a leg amputated, and he said, I need a different reason to live, basically. So he got on marijuana and it saved his life. And they would not let them air it at the Super Bowl. Why do you think?
Well, because they're not making money yet on the marijuana, the federal government and the Big Brother.
But isn't that sad that we can't talk about the medical marijuana point?
Yeah, I know.
Because we want you on opioids?
Well, speaking of
Goes to the wine too.
well, that's where the money is. Money's in chemical
All right, that's where the
response.
money comes from.
That's where the money comes from.
Exactly.
But they
Exactly.
offered $5 million for that commercial slot and they wouldn't let him have it.
Well, playing off of you, segueing a perfect segue from marijuana, a software company agrees to pay $145 million settlement in opioid kickback scheme.
All right.
So,
what?
So $145 million in a kickback scheme for heroin and opioids, right? Or, the Oxycontins, Oxycodons, and all those. And talk about, this is why they don't let this guy talk about marijuana on the Super Bowl, because they are basically making billions of dollars in opioids. And basically, this Practice Fusion, San Francisco-based developer IT products of healthcare, agreed to pay $145 million to avoid criminal and civil prosecution over accusations that he solicited over $1 million kickback from unidentified
Holy
opioid
cow.
manufacturers.
That is such, that's where the evil lies. That's what we should be paying attention to.
Well, all of it, we should be paying attention to it. Honestly, if ever you just realize you're a spiritual human being having a physical experience,
And you are
here,
love. You are made
and
up of love.
and you're distracted from all this alcohol, whatever it may be, and drugs, opiates, you're distracting yourself
Yeah.
from being fully who you are, then come on. Our soul doesn't want to live in this world if it can't be fully expressive in a non-distractive way.
We were talking about what was in alcohol, but what's in a freaking opioid?
Oh, God,
That's all
heavy.
chemicals.
That's heavy. That's all chemicals, yeah. And alcohol's chemical based too. you
Yeah.
know.
I'm just saying there is a crazy epidemic with
And
this.
it destroys your body. Alcohol destroys your body. Look at the liver, it does and everything.
Tim still drinks.
I do. I still drink.
I take the show
but
personal.
listen, I can still drink and still be against something. I can still, be
It's
against.
just okay in moderation, but doing opioids is never okay in moderation, I don't think.
Well,
there's a
it's
line.
so addictive.
You can.
It's
I don't care if
heroin.
you smoke marijuana in moderation. I don't care if you drink in moderation, but don't do opioids. They are killing people. They're killing our kids.
Yeah.
That's what's killing our kids.
Yeah.
And then that's what makes you
Well,
a zombie as a parent.
I think alcohol kills kids more so than opioids.
What?
I think it destroys their connection to soul. It puts them in a lot more. It destroys their
More
potential.
so than opioids?
I think it destroys. I think the kids who are doing opioids are very harmed, and it's very difficult to get out of. But I think there's so many more kids on a collective level doing alcohol that destroys their potential future of their talents and everything being expressed of who they could potentially be.
More so than opioids.
More so, well, because opioids is becoming an epidemic, but I think alcohol is much more socially accepted.
Well, it is, but I okay. So Stacy said, look at Europe. They have low rates of alcoholism.
Really?
Drinking age either doesn't exist or is far lower than here. People drink with dinner, drink in front of their kids. That's not the cause of alcoholism. An understanding and respect for your limit is key. Absolutely. Drop the mic. That's absolutely right.
All right. What
All
else
right.
you got?
I hate this news, but I got to report it, guys, because I'm Shannon McVan, Awaken Atlanta. This is so sick, though. Harvey Weinstein, we all know about that
Harvey
coward, that disgusting POS. So one of the accusers, Jessica Mann, was talking in trial, and guess what Harvey Weinstein did? He said, have you ever had a golden shower and peed on her? And she had to say this in front of a trial.
He did that to her?
He urinated on a woman.
Oh, God. That's pretty disgusting, Harvey. Harvey, what are you going to do? You guys, Harvey, and your elk, you guys are going down.
I have 17 jokes that I want to say right now. But isn't that disgusting?
Yeah, well, I think some people who get into those type of fetishes.
But then teach their own. What if you like it?
Well, I'm saying some people get into those type of fetishes, whatever it may be. But I think it's probably usually, it's more of a control and degrading experience than it would be well, that's S&M for you. Isn't S&M degrading?
S&M is what? Sadomasochism? Blah, blah, blah.
And
what is it? Do you beat each other or something?
Well,
no,
no.
you beat the women or the women beat the men? What is it? Somebody tell us.
Both ways, but it isn't that degrading in many ways. But some people want to be degraded.
Some people want to wear diapers and have their wives clean them.
All right, so check this out. Dow plunges 600 points amid global, coronavirus fears. White House orders major U.S. airlines to suspend all flights to China. And by the way, this is my opinion, a biochemical release in China, and God knows who released it. And this is where they're playing on. They're going to.
Wait, you think time out.
Yeah.
You think somebody released the coronavirus?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I believe that. And I believe that for many reasons, and I believe that whatever the reasons there were, they're going to say, oh, well, we have a vaccination cure eventually, and it's going to be more vaccination process steps into that direction. But Wall Street Dow Jones Industrial plunged 600 points because of this coronavirus fear. And now everyone's kind of freaking out. It really is. It's getting pretty bad.
I'm freaking out. I don't.
Currently, there are 6 confirmed coronavirus cases and 168 cases under investigation in the United States.
Oh, no.
We are facing an unprecedented health threat, said the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta. And guys, I really wish I could believe these people, and I trust them. I'm not saying that's not happening. Just like with the, Sandy Hook stuff. I'm not saying that all didn't happen. I'm saying it's all being created.
Wait a second.
And so you got to find out the problem, reaction, solution. What is the solution that they're wanting to put in is what you got to be thinking 2 steps ahead.
What is the solution?
I believe it's going to be a vaccination solution, which they're going to put in all the other stuff in there along with that.
Do you think they're doing it because of population control?
I think they're doing it because vaccinations are losing its momentum.
Have you ever thought about not vaccinating your kid as population control? Maybe you're the person with the agenda?
I would, if I had more children, I would definitely not vaccinate my children. What I know now, I could never take back. And I'm sorry that I vaccinated my kids.
Okay.
What do you got?
I mean,
Hey, you teach his own,
Teach their own.
You keep doing your vaccination self. You do your thing.
I think that vaccinations, I think modern medicine, there's a time and it's a beautiful thing. I don't think we should hate it so much.
I'm not hating
there
it.
There are freaking cures for AIDS on modern medicine.
Shannon, I'm not hating it. I'm just saying that there's preventative care and then there's triage. We live in a freaking country that's all about triage, all right? It's allopathic triage. We're a great country when you break your leg, whatever, but we are not a country of preventative care. We're not.
John Ross said coronavirus vaccine was patented in 2014. Where did he hear that?
John Ross,
Patrick
tell us where you
said-
found that. And I'll tell you
John
what,
Ross-
and you watch. That's what they're going to be pushing right now. John Ross, you just found the solution.
John Ross,
if that's
true, I want proof.
And if that's true, you watch what's going to happen the next so many months. All of a sudden, CDC is going to come out, hey, we got the coronavirus vaccine. And watch, they're going to start pushing that to everybody.
I want proof.
And people will be rushing to it because the flu vaccine's dying out. No one's doing the flu anymore. And they're going to be rushing to get the coronavirus because how serious it is. It's a big red flag. It's a false flag, in my opinion.
My girlfriend who works in the NICU,
Yeah.
she has had so many babies this season that
her
are
uterus
dead.
fell out.
No, they're dead now because they died of the flu. The flu was so bad, and they didn't get vaccinated. So I'm just saying.
If that's true, I'd have to question that.
Okay. And then Patrick said Corona has similar structural profile as HIV.
There you go. See that? It's more man-made. It bothers me. I get upset. Oh God, if we only knew the level of conspiracy going on, people only knew.
Okay, you ready for some sad news?
Oh God, make me sadder. Make me
I don't
sadder,
want
Shannon
to.
McVeigh.
I don't want to, but this goes to show because we hear about the men that identify as women that want to go into the restrooms, and now we're supposed to just be okay with that, right?
Yes.
According to reports, a 23-year-old convicted child molester named Joseph Smith was released from prison after undergoing gender reassignment surgery while locked up. So he made himself a girl. He was put away for molesting 15 children, starting from age 1.
Oh God, these sick freaks.
Ooh, I'm so glad that you were passionate about that and you almost swore. This makes me sick. So now he turned himself into a woman and he's out of prison.
Where that happened? San Francisco?
I mean, are you kidding me? This is disgusting. I don't know where it happened.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Where's Newton? He was in the Newton Correctional Prison.
God.
Only for 2 years for molesting a child. If you
A 1-year-old.
A 1 year, you know what? This is where I think. What do you think should happen? I know I'm supposed to. I don't have grace for this.
Well,
so.
I personally, if they can't control themselves, I mean, let him castrate himself. And he wants to anyway. He wants to be a woman, right?
We have to go to break, and then we'll go to your news.
All right, all right, guys. And more news, we got more antiviral drug combo already coming out for cure for the coronavirus.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Do you want to learn how you can stop sabotaging yourself? I'm here with Dr. Vern Morgan, and I think he's about to tell you just that.
There's great new technology which will allow you to change the old negative programming into very positive strategies. And we do that by using and delivering repetitively these strategies, bypassing the conscious mind and influencing the subconscious mind.
And to learn more, go to unitedintentions.org and click on Shop and make the authentic change today. Live every day with purpose with the Seeds of Intention Daily Planner.
A goal is just a dream until you write it down. Now, the awesome thing about writing things down is because in a year's time, you can see all of the specific things that are actually in your life right now. You can really chronicle the progression of the relationship and how you got from one goal to the next to the next.
To learn more, go to unitedintentions.org and click on Shop and make the commitment today to make the authentic change.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to Awaken Atlanta. I'm Shannon McVeigh. This is Tim Ray, and we are talking about good news, which is not good.
Well, it is good.
But it's news
awareness.
that we
it's
have to bring awareness to.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay, so I was telling you about this antiviral drug combo cured women of the coronavirus just 48 hours after being treated. A physician from Thailand said
Hey, like your thighs, lady boy.
So they said that they were found a curative treatment for coronavirus after they used a cocktail of antiviral medications to treat a woman with illness this week. So, and they said this 48 hours, she was treated with an anti-HIV drug, lopinavir, whatever it may be, and one other one, and large doses of anti-flu drug, of course. So,
all right, wait, you just said of course. That was great reading.
Well, I'm just saying it's because it's already coming out. They already have the cure, so who knows?
Wait a second. So it's the HIV you just said, though.
Yes,
so they're giving him an HIV drug that's curing hey, then good.
And
No
but
more
once
deaths.
once you do your research and find out HIV was also created, I mean, all this is man-made created. Guys, we're in a world where there's no compassion of the leaders who are in charge.
Wait,
the compassion has
HIV
come from
was
with
created?
us. My research, yeah, in my opinion.
Mm.
Between whooping cough and
Whooping cough? Is that what you meant?
whooping cough and
Whooping?
and anthrax, or what do you call that?
Anthrax. Jeez
yeah.
Louise.
I don't know my drugs. All
Yeah.
right. So back to this more important news.
Yes.
All right. U.S. Army funds fully automated microaggression detector to catch implicit bias in the workplace.
What does that even mean?
Okay, so Boston, Massachusetts, U.S. Army research put in over $1 million, 3 years to grant to a professor who says that he's developed a fully automated luxury microaggression detector, like Alexa, like device that monitors conversations to catch implicit bias in the workplace across America.
Good for them.
If you can detect biased speech, you could detect everything, which is important if you seek to take control over everyone. That's why the military is funding this. So
You're going to have that here at UI Media.
Guys, they have Alexa now that will actually listen to conversations and report to somebody that you're being biased at work.
That's a control thing.
And our army is running it. Our national government is in charge of this program.
Talk about micromanaging. I bet there's some people that would really like that. That I have suffered with control issues,
guys,
and
this,
micromanaging.
This is Big Brother at the finest. My
That's
God,
crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is absolutely nuts.
That is crazy. And what are we going to do about this?
Who really has the time to sit and listen? Who would want to know that?
Guys, we got to get these power brokers out of these key positions. They got to step down. We got to take them out as one way or another because they are just the viruses are
because
releasing.
One
the
way
micromanaging,
or another,
you know?
they're going to find you. They're going to get you, get you, get you.
I'm telling you, they got to step down or they got to wake up. You guys, I wish you guys would wake up. Wake up to your soul.
Good thing we have Awakening on Awaken Atlanta.
Oh, my God, wake up.
Stacey said, wow, talk about Big Brother.
Ugh. Anyway,
all
what do
right,
you got?
this is good news. I have some real good news.
I got some good
news. A
news.
Minnesota woman is reunited with her long-lost dog after it was featured on a Florida beer advertisement. So this beer company, guys, they go to the Humane Society and they put pictures of lost dogs on the beers. And she found her lost dog and was reunited after 3 years. That is conscious. That is freaking so cool.
You had to bring alcohol in here, didn't you?
See, if they didn't have that beer on their play day. No, but seriously.
You never found your kid.
Don't you think that's really cool?
Well, I think it's cool. And you know, hey, whatever works when finding kids, I'm all for it. So, you know.
I mean, but this dog was even microchipped, so that's even cooler. So it was definitely her dog.
So you believe in microchipping your animals?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't believe in any type of microchipping. I don't believe in all this government stuff.
Well, why not your animals? Because they're dumb. Dogs are dumb.
Loving soul, man.
Yeah, but dogs are so dumb. They get lost. They don't know how to come home. They can't stop and ask for directions.
My dogs are brilliant. Your dog, okay.
My dog's
your dog's
dumb.
pretty dumb.
Yeah, my dog. I don't know how to.
What do they say that? The owners seek out their animals. What do they say? What's the thing there?
Yeah, my dog found me. He's dopey, just like me. Whatever. We look alike. We love each other.
You break things together.
I need to be microchipped. I'm lost.
Microchip. That's funny. All right, now, here, you love this. Robert F. Kennedy. You know who that is, Jr.?
Yes, and he's not as handsome as the other one.
He has a little throat problem, but okay.
He does?
Yeah. On stunning.
What, does he not have an Adam's apple like you? By throat problem?
On stunning corruption in the vaccine industry, he says has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans. You have a Kennedy telling you that the vaccines are killing Americans. All right. He says all the 72 vaccines mandated for children are produced by four companies: Merck, Sanofi, Pfizer, and GlaxoSmithKline. No vaccine has ever been safety tested with real placebo. He says it's never been tested by a placebo effect. The vaccine's never been tested, none. And they do that with every other drug except vaccines. Remember that, people. And he says that the CDC functions as a vaccine company with a budget of $11 billion per year. $5 billion is spent on buying vaccines at inflated prices. The CDC approves vaccines by them from their manufacturing friends and forces 78 million people to use them even though they may never been tested for safety. In addition, making $60 billion per year selling vaccines. The company makes an additional $500 billion selling medications for diseases that vaccines cause. Oh my God, it's like feeding on each other.
Thank you for losing all of our listeners.
Well, I'm sorry. Thank you.
By ramming it in,
I'm
Sailor.
saying thank you, Robert Kennedy Jr. for bringing that to our attention. What else you got to say?
Well, what else do you have to say? I want to know something in your news that doesn't have to do with a conspiracy. Give me one thing.
Well, most of it is. It's like it's right in your face. One thing about the news right now, I mean, trees are being more planted now than ever before. That's good news.
Do you think that?
I don't think that's conspiracy.
Do you think that the Shakira and J-Lo thing is a conspiracy?
I guess I do. I don't think it's conspiracy. I think they did go along with the program, but people who chose to do that type of halftime, like all the satanic stuff they've done in the past, are basically watering down society, because the more you make people crazy and break down the nuclear family, the more you can control people. So yeah, I do believe that's a conspiracy.
What is the boss's name? How did I forget it? Springsteen.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, Bruce Springsteen.
Didn't he do something where he slid down like J-Lo and he put his package in the camera? Remember that?
Well, whatever it is.
And no one said anything.
Lisa said today, it's pathetic. We're watering down our whole society to be a lower level of standards. You know, we're not raising standards, we're lowering standards.
All I'm saying is it's easy for people to sit back and judge when they are just performers and they were just trying to perform their culture.
Okay, but you know what? The performers could have their own, they're like gestures, they're little dance for me, monkey. You know, they could have their own mind.
We're that. I'm that.
Well, not
I
really.
will dance for you, monkey.
Well,
you tell me what you tell me, jump, I'll say how
that's you, not me. I will not dance for anyone.
Not
if I
for
don't
your
believe,
listeners of Awaken Atlanta.
If I don't believe in it, no, I will not.
Well, I wouldn't if I didn't believe in it. But
Well,
come
that's
on,
the
we are
whole point.
entertainers.
But
we do
yes.
things that we wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, but we
Wendy,
do it with
you're
the conscious.
listening. I'm in the entertainment industry.
Shannon, we do
You'll
with,
get that.
Shannon, we do it with the conscious. Like, for example, if J-Lo was like, you know what? I don't think I want my daughter to be part of this, so I'm not going to do
But she did it because she was saying something to the Oscars, like an FU to the Oscars
she was doing,
about not.
She was doing it because she was told she had to do on the dance
No,
pole.
that's not true.
I'm sure. And
She was proving a point that she, in her opinion, she thought it was like more of a racist thing that she was disqualified from the Oscars, basically.
Shannon, she was doing it because she's not in control of things. All right, she's a freaking actor. They're like the bottom liners of there. It's the producers and all these other folks who make all the decisions. Actors very seldom do unless they're part of that cabal.
Okay.
You know, I'm just telling you what I see. You know, you don't agree with it. That's
battle.
fine. All right, it's good.
Tim and I are battling on Awaken Atlanta. What's your opinion, people? I want to know what your. Oh wait, what did Billy say? What did he say when he called in about them? He said they
J-Lo was Shannon was right. That's what he said. He always says Shannon's right no matter what.
He does not. All right, listen to this.
What?
So in Baton Rouge, Louisiana cleans out its execution chamber at the state
You have
penitentiary
a hard time
daily.
reading like me, by the way.
I do
know?
not.
You are too.
68 people right now are sitting on Louisiana's death row with no execution dates. So they're saying that they're going to stall it for another decade.
You know, I was watching the Ted Bundy serial murders on Netflix. It's a great documentary, by the way. And what they're
because you're like that a murderer.
He was a serial killer, and he brutally raped and murdered beautiful college girls throughout 1973, 74.
He would bite their cheeks off. He's sick.
It was the worst I've ever seen. However, he was arrested. He was 73, 74. He was doing his 74 or 75. He was doing his murders. And then he got caught 76, 77. Then 78, he got out and then did the whole Gainesville or the FSU co-ed murders. And then he finally got caught. He should have been eliminated right then and there. But you know how long it took this day of execution for him was? 10 years plus. He lived eating food.
So do you think that
they should have took him out in the back and put a bullet in the back of his head behind the shed?
You know what?
That's what they should have done.
I don't disagree. And I think it should have been public so that people know if you do things like that, there's going to be a consequence.
But my point is when the evidence is that and they've been found guilty, what are we waiting for, honestly? And these people who are like, I'm against the death penalty, come on, man, really? Really?
I used to be against the death penalty.
Really?
Back in the day, yep. And then I had children, and I realized if anybody were to touch my child, I would totally hang them publicly.
I mean, they have.
I would go to jail for life.
They
if
have
I had
maximum
to, if somebody
security.
touched my child.
They got maximum security prisons that you got the worst of the worst. These people are so far gone. There's no therapies that are going to help them. Only they can do is lock them up forever.
No therapy, really. I really don't understand the statistics. If you're that sick that you can do something like that, there's something wrong with you. You should just, if you believe in reincarnation like Tim does, just do a different life. Get out of here.
Well, now, at the same time, I'll say that, and there's less therapy on that when you look at the brutal crimes they do, but at the same time, they have souls. And any soul at any given time could awaken to that.
Yeah, but it's evil soul.
No,
that's
it's not.
Evil.
There's no
that's
evil
pure evil.
souls. All
That's
souls
ridiculous.
all souls are beautiful.
That is not true.
It's possession. It's the entities that possess us.
There is good and there's bad. I'm so tired of this
There is
foo-foo
not
world.
good
there's
and bad.
Oh, God, now you're one of those?
I'm saying there's
you
gray.
used to be.
I'm gray.
You at least used to admit that there was good and there was evil. Now you're saying there's not evil.
I'm saying people do evil things. I'm not saying there's not the soul is not intrinsically evil. The soul gets corrupted by disconnecting from God, and it does evil things.
There is good and there's evil.
And there's also possession that people affect us that way.
And do you think that's evil?
I think it can be, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're so feisty today, aren't you?
I guess.
And that's good, though. That's good. I like that.
I just wish you were my Tim from months ago, where you
what? Good. Okay. How am I folks? How have I changed my perspective on things?
Yes,
I think I'm pretty
because
consistent.
you used to say there was good and bad. Now you're saying there's only good.
Okay. I don't think I ever said there was good and bad. I said people can
Yes,
do
you did.
bad things, good things. We
replay.
judge it. We create it. Yeah, replay.
We'll replay the tape.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Otis.
What do you got?
All right. Chinese officials are hiding a higher death toll by cremating bodies.
From the
China admits to slow to react the deadly coronavirus outbreak. The death toll has climbed to at least 213 amid claims that officials are hiding the true death toll by cremating the bodies. So how did they get away with that? Are these bums on the street that have no family?
Well, before we panic, 213 is a lot of people, right? But at the same time, you look at the majority of deaths in accidents or by medical treatment, you look at hundreds of thousands, okay? Here in the United States alone, not to mention China.
Is this do you get the coronavirus by the flu? Is it a breathing thing or is it a touching thing?
Is it respiratory?
What is it?
I don't know. I think it may be respiratory.
So that's breathing. You can breathe it in?
Meaning airborne.
Okay, that's scary.
Well, it is scary, but
I didn't think it was like that. I thought it was more germy touching.
Oh, Renata says, I'm missing the love from you. Where are the smiles? Well, that's the news segment.
Welcome to Real Life, Renata.
Come on, Renata.
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 Well, we have somebody, actually, we got to go to break, and we have Ilene Dillon that's going to come on in our show. Hopefully, she'll bring us some smiles because she's an author, speaker, and mastermind leader.
Yes, to help you through your anger management issues.
We're going to turn this around just for you, Renata, because we love you, because we dance monkey. We are your monkeys. This is your circus.
All right, Renata, here comes some smiles.
Wait for it, Wahid, or what? Oh.
I knew Tim was going to laugh.
That's disgusting. I can't even. Is it?
You are listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day on the UI Media Network, sponsored by the United Intentions Foundation.
Grab your gal pals and gather around. It's time for some reviews you can use on the Mezza Live with your favorite grandma, Jacqueline Grund. A stylish wife, grandmother, and entrepreneur, Jackie has always been in the business of making women feel good, mind, body, and soul. With dazzling beauty tips to conscious lifestyle reviews, Jackie has always found a way to make her audience feel more connected to the world they live in. Now she invites you to her show, The Mezza Live, every other Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on uimediaapp.com, WDJY 99.1 FM in Atlanta, WTTA 101.2 FM in Kentucky and Ohio, Facebook Live, Spreaker, and almost all your favorite podcasting platforms. Come on and live your sexy 60s, where all the cool grandmas hang out and better your life from the inside out. It's reviews you can use on the Mezza Live with Jackie Grund.
Hi, I'm Greta Full, president of Golden Home Services, a premier private home care service for seniors in Georgia for almost 2 decades now. We all have parents, and I know I love my parents more than anything else in this world. And because of that, Golden Home Services makes sure we care for your parents as if they were our parents. Call 678-242-0084 anytime, or visit goldenhomeservices.com to select from our range of affordable home care services.
They support us so we can support you. Hear about conscious businesses that provide goods and services to our community. Through one another, we uplift and support for the greater good. Let's give a hand to our goodwill partners.
All right, we are back live in studio. Ilene Dillon's visiting here, and I'm Tim Ray with Shannon McVeigh, and we're going to have a great little Goodwill Partner segment here. So, Ilene, tell us all about you.
Well, I worked as a clinical social worker in California for close to 50 years. I'm now the author of a book called Emotions in Motion.
Ooh.
And I have been listening to the show this morning.
Yay, judge us.
Well, that's not my bag.
Oh.
But,
That's Shannon.
Constructive criticism.
That's Shannon's bag.
I really have been interested in your discussion on alcohol and that sort of thing. I don't know if we can go back to that.
Yeah, we can. We can do anything you want to do on Awaken, Atlanta.
Yeah,
and,
take us there.
Okay. Well, I thought Lisa Boucher had really some wonderful points to make, as did all of you. But I'm a person who likes to get to the very bottom of everything. And to me, the bottom has to do with some of what you've been talking about, which is the spirituality. Like, what are we all doing here? And part of what I have in my book is the notion that we are in a giant school. And that we've all come here in order to learn and grow. And every experience we have is an opportunity to learn. And what is happening in our culture altogether, not just with alcohol, is that it's falling apart. We're going downhill.
Are we not falling
Well,
apart?
I have a question, though. When you just said that in your book, we're here to learn. So do you believe that we're here to learn spiritually because there's like a heaven, or do you believe that we are here to learn because we're just going to be reincarnated until we learn?
I can't tell you because
Good. No, that's refreshing.
I'm here on this planet. I know what I know here.
Good.
I can postulate, and
That's a
I know
good
there
answer.
are lots of different ways of looking at it. But the bottom line is, as a therapist, what I found out is that people don't change until they get into pain, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Like rock bottom?
well, they have to be in enough pain to make them think that doing something different won't be as bad as where they are right now.
You know what they need to do if that's the case? Come work for Tim Ray. You're in so much pain, you realize I don't care what I have to do.
I'll bring you down to rock bottom.
Well, so
Change, growth.
Part of your question, Shannon, was, why are we doing this in our culture right now? And I think we're doing it to push ourselves to grow.
Yes, I like that.
And when we bring children in, I've taught conscious parenting for many years. Children, we tend to look at as as the parent, teach the child what to do here on the earth. But my idea is that children are as much teachers as they are learners.
Are. I agree. I learn so much from my kids every day.
And so part of the way they're teaching us where the alcohol is concerned is we're taking them places with us, and they're telling us, oh, are you going to have another margarita or whatever.
Like that story.
Yeah. And so they are, in essence, souls who are helping us to see things about our level of consciousness.
Yes, I totally agree with that. That's a good point.
Not only a good point, but if you do believe in past lives, you think about it, the kids are coming in this life, they're actually older souls because they were around last time, right? So that makes sense why they're helping us.
Our kids are so much more evolved than we were. It's insane.
Yeah.
If you should see, like, the younger the kids, what does Cheryl call them? Rainbow children.
Rainbow children,
I believe that.
Yeah.
They're way more evolved than we were. We were kind of like chickens with our heads cut off. They're like super smart and
it's funny because we act like we own them and we know better because we know more.
Of course, there are things that we know.
Well, we navigate through humanity, navigate through this three-dimensional world, and we have more experience, so we share that with them. But on a soul level, they're coming with a lot more experience than we are.
Well, But the big issue here that I'm addressing is that we are partners. They are helping us to grow, and we are helping them to grow. All right?
Absolutely.
And we're all falling apart now,
I
so we
have a
can
hard
go to
time
a
giving
new
my kids
place.
50-50.
Not
on
me.
that.
I'll do 50-50.
I'll go 80-20.
They'll take it anyway.
I'll go
let me tell you.
90-10.
My kids, I
take it.
swear, like I will trust my kids. When they tell me something, I listen.
Shannon, you can't have the tail wag the dog, Shannon.
Winnie's 5 and she bosses me around. Maybe I'm failing as a mother.
Shannon, you can't have the tail wag the dog.
Bowie bosses me around too. My dog, he's also very involved.
You know, if it wasn't true, all right, so it's not true. But so Ilene, what I love about you, you've been on my show once or twice. You've been on Awaken Atlanta a while ago. But I love about you is that you are just so your energy is so calming, so perfect. You can jump into conversation.
I love that he said perfect.
Well, it is.
Lucky.
She is. If
You're like,
hey, I'm spending quality time with her. She's staying with me for a little while. You know, she's
Can I
mine.
come?
She's mine, Shannon,
Can I
not
come
yours.
stay with you?
All right. So, but this anger. This anger that most people have, this hidden anger, like people who are never be able to express who they are, they're always telling you what you want to hear. There's an anger below that, isn't there?
Right. Well, one of the reasons I got interested in emotions at all and wrote this book is that I am a recovered angry person. All right. And you guys have been talking a lot about depression, right? We need to work with emotions. Depression is a form of anger. And yes, we have a lot of depression because we have a lot of anger.
Everywhere.
And why do we have a lot of anger? Because for generations, we've been taught to stuff our feelings and not allow ourselves to have them.
Right.
Shannon, you never have to worry about that, by the way, because your feelings are not on your sleeve. They're about 10 feet in front of you. All right.
Well, there's also the issue of do you turn it loose? I was very good in my earlier life in turning anger loose, but it goes on to other people. It's not really doing anything. And another point I make in my book is that emotions are energy and they have to move. And the whole issue of alcoholism, you keep talking about, well, we're going to handle our stress and our depression and so forth. The issue really is we don't handle our emotions. We don't let that energy move. So to make sure we don't have to deal with it, we go to substance abuse of various kinds.
Right.
Okay?
So behind that,
some people eat like crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like any kind of addiction.
When I'm calling it substance abuse,
yeah.
food could be a substance.
So behind all these abuses that we do, you're saying it's emotions hiding behind it.
Yes.
And so why are we such a culture of I mean, we all feel, we all have emotions. Sometimes people are just crazy with emotions, but is it that we don't understand it? I mean, what is it we missing here, Ilene?
Well, for generations, we have been taught that emotions are bad. They've been demonized. We shouldn't feel them. They're embarrassing and so forth.
And boys shouldn't cry.
And the bottom line is what you don't know about, you can't work with, right? So we have not learned viable ways of working with emotions. And I have to say, and I mentioned this in my book, even psychotherapists have not been taught how emotions really work. Like, do they know what causes anger? Why do you get angry out of proportion to what's going on? How do you actually deal with anger? And those were the questions that I needed to address as a single mother who was furious and dumping the anger out onto my children.
Right.
And
so we don't. So that's crazy. Even therapists, psychotherapists, don't even know how to handle.
Well, because
it.
they're humans. They're
well, and they're trained in a model that's very archaic.
It's because we don't have an agreed upon idea of how emotions work in the first place. And in the training of therapists, they didn't say, this is anger, let's look at anger. They say anger is part of this illness over here. And then when you're dealing with this illness, you have to work with the anger, right?
Right.
And so we haven't really learned anything about emotions. Anger, for example. Anger, the universal cause of anger that I have come up with, that I'm a recovered angry person, let me make that really clear, that has worked for me and thousands of people that I've worked with over 50 years, is that anger occurs when we have an idea inside of us of how things are supposed to be. I say they come in terms of shoulds. I think you should look at me when I'm talking and you don't, I'll get angry with you.
I'm looking at you guys.
I think you should not look at me when I'm talking, I'll get angry with you if you do. All right? So it's a violation.
That's a very internal thing, though. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an internal journey.
We're all living our lives from the inside out.
Right.
So it's all about internal. And part of the whole alcoholism or drinking thing that you were talking about, we're trying to figure out how we actually want to live our lives. Do we want to live consciously, or do we want to keep evading, or do we want to learn? Some people think it's too painful to face fact reality as it is.
Right. Well, it is painful. Right?
Well,
they always say the
so
only
for
way
a time.
the only way
For a
out
time.
is through it.
Yeah.
You got to go through it.
Right.
it.
And on the earth, that's true. If you want to get past something, you have to go through
Yeah.
it. And what I have learned as a person who was very screwed up, I listened to Lisa's childhood. Mine was somewhat similar, is that it doesn't have to keep lasting, and you can move through it. And once you face the pain, since our earth is a giant school, what happens is if there's something I'm supposed to learn, the universe, if you will, whatever runs things, it taps you on the shoulder and says, "Would you like to learn this?"
Right.
And we go, "Oh, no, that's too painful."
Give me a drink.
Yeah. Give me a drink. Right.
Yeah, I'll be over here on the bar stool.
And so,
go ahead, universe.
And so that,
Go ahead, you
that
ugly self.
lesson goes around, and the next time it's
hitting you harder. Right.
Every time it's hitting you harder. And
You're right.
it keeps hitting you until you get it. But what happens when you get it? When you learn the lesson, when you turn and say, "Okay, this
Light
is a school,"
shines out of you.
you are done with it like that.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
seconds.
That's
It's absolutely-
transmutation, isn't it? You transmute that energy.
Yeah, I suppose I
Transformation.
haven't
It's the
thought of it that
caterpillar
way.
to the butterfly.
Well, this is like the emotion. Like, guys, emotion's everything. We live in a culture, especially the Western culture, is we're numbed out. We're not feeling. We're not allowing ourselves to feel. We're scared to feel, right? And part of that feeling is
I
that we
sure
don't,
am.
But part of that feeling, though, Ilene, is it not that we don't know how to handle, like, say, certain heavy feelings like anger? Anger's a heavy feeling. Anger, bad things can happen. People can get really physically hurt.
Yes.
Well, but
there is righteous anger. I'd like to point that out.
That's my style. I could talk with you for hours.
Yeah.
There are different payoffs for
Yeah.
being angry.
All right.
The thing is that we create a lot of the problems with anger by holding on to it, because since it's energy, it's like water that is going down a river and you put a dam there. The water builds up behind the dam. As the water builds up, it makes pressure.
Yes.
It looks for ways to get through. If there's a tiny little crack in the dam, the whole thing can break, right?
Right.
So what do we do as human beings? We notice we're angry and we go, "Oh, I don't want to be angry. I won't get angry." So we stuff it. Well, what happens when you hold emotions inside, particularly anger? Anger's our most active emotion.
Right.
It grows.
It seeps in
It
you. Yeah.
grows.
Whatever you give
So
energy
that
to,
pressure,
you feed.
right? That pressure grows and grows. So eventually the pressure goes so great that we explode, right? That's when all the pain and stuff happens. And what do we do after we explode? We feel better and we start stuffing again. So we just go on a cycle. And what I
don't feel better when I explode. I really don't. I feel like shame and
Initially feel better, but then afterwards you feel guilty, right?
Oh, I don't. I don't think so. I hate the fact when I explode.
Guilt is a form of anger too.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's
See, I grew up Catholic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up Irish family, Italian family. Man, if you're not guilty, you're not doing your job right as a parent.
Right. Well, guilt is
awful.
not even a real emotion, as you'll see if you read my book.
Okay.
Really? Like, what is it?
Because that's the biggest thing I struggle with. So
It's a
I
man-made emotion. I don't do guilt anymore. I haven't done it for years.
How do you? Okay, can you give us a solution? An attainable solution?
Give Shannon a solution.
Guilt is a form of anger, and it's anger that you feel like you don't have a right to have. So, okay. Depression is anger.
You're not allowed to be angry.
Yeah, like if I'm driving down the road and a dog runs across the road and I have to make a choice between do I kill the dog or do I hurt myself, and I kill the dog, I'm going to feel guilty. But in reality, I'm angry that I was in the position where I had to make that choice. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
But what if it's like a choice that you, because a lot of.
Give an example, and if you'll find the anger.
I can't.
Right.
Well, the problem is, and we were talking about this. We were talking about this the other night. The problem is.
By the way, I love her so much.
He's talking about me, of course.
Do we live on the basis of
Still
what?
talking about me.
All right.
Do we live on the basis of what we want to do in life, who we want to be? You see, that early teaching, you've been taught this is how you're supposed to do it. Any
Right.
supposed to is coming from outside of you, right?
Right.
And so
yes.
in this giant school, we came here to explore love in all of its permutations.
Yes.
Which means we have to live life, experiment, try alcohol,
Right.
all those things, right? And so when you get all these rules in the beginning, you don't get to explore that much.
She's explaining me, and most of you Christians, perfectly. You are literally explaining this so perfectly. Keep going.
Well,
that's it.
That's all you got, Ilene?
Come on, you're changing my life. But how do you really start living that way? Do you just remind yourself?
Well, what I started doing, because I was also brought up Christian and in the South and in the military, and I had a lot of shoulds in my life. I began to, first of all, identify when I would get angry about something or feel guilty. I'd say, what could I possibly be feeling angry about here? And I would start exploring things, and usually one will click.
Yes.
Okay. Like I could possibly be angry. Usually with guilt, it's being in a position where you lose no matter what you do.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think do you think it's like an identity thing? Because like for me, for instance, I feel like where I struggle the most is from my guilt because of what I was trained of who I was supposed to be. And I'm like, I'm not like that. I want to do this, this, and that. But then you feel guilty because you're living that, but it might be the way you're created to be.
Well, you have to decide whether you want to keep living on the basis of guilt or not. When I learned, which I learned from someone else, that guilt wasn't even a real emotion, I began to ask myself, why do I want to live on the basis of this emotion? Does it make me feel good? If you are familiar with Esther Hicks, her statement is that we are designed to do what makes us feel good. And we're...
So is there wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, as a psychotherapist, I have found that all these rules that people get in various religions and social systems do not necessarily help people to live better lives. They don't help you to stay connected to yourself. They don't help, they get in your way.
Ilene,
and part of it is you need to learn to get past it.
I could talk to you for hours.
And we will after this segment, but I'll tell you what.
I'm coming home with you, Ilene.
She's with me.
I know. I'm so excited. I get to come back over.
Normally, I live in my RV.
So Ilene, how can people reach you?
My website is emotionalmasteryforlife.com. And if you want to write to me, my first name is Ilene, and it's Ilene at emotionalmasteryforlife.com.
I'm reading this book, guys. This is a fantastic book. I strongly, personally recommend it. And you guys, if you haven't a chance to understand, it's all about emotions. You will after you read this. Ilene, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to just go right into our recap and then just have Ilene here? Or what do you think?
Yeah, you want to stay with us the last 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Do I have to?
No. No, you don't.
Yes, you have to. Yes, you have to.
Oh, well, I might feel guilty if I leave.
We'll read some comments. All right, I might feel guilty if I leave.
Yeah, we'll hold off on break and we'll do.
All right, so Robert said all those rules only satisfy the obviously anal person that wrote them all.
There you go.
Whoever they were over the generations.
What do you mean by anal?
He says, Ilene is calming force to be certain. Actually, she is. Come on, Ilene.
No, he's singing
Patrick says, come on,
Yeah,
Ilene.
you're sweet.
Come on, Ilene. How do you sing it? Sing it, Shannon.
I can't. Please tell me somebody else just understood what Tim Ray said.
I said, come on, Ilene.
No, I know. But
right.
it's...
That's a song. Who sings that song? Anyway, so as you go forward, your recap.
Sometimes I feel like a 17-year-old boy in high school. Okay.
Well, we do think there's some transgender things going on over there.
He just says that because he's really the transgender.
Really?
He's a lady boy.
Shannon has a penis. Okay, don't forget that.
Tim has a vagina.
Well, maybe so, but at least
we'll do this all day.
It's a good thing I've heard everything as a psychotherapist.
Welcome to the last 8 minutes of our show. When we start to get stir crazy, we're like, what should we talk about?
So, Shannon, what was your favorite part?
All right, so my favorite part was sticking up for the moms that drink on play dates.
Oh my God, are you gonna? Can you make one behavioral change? Can you make that change?
Me?
Yeah.
Like what?
Don't drink. Don't drink with.
Yeah,
the,
I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
Tim,
okay.
let me be a radio personality.
Oh, I got you.
How about that?
All right. There you go.
Sometimes we play devil's advocate that we don't necessarily agree with. Of course,
agree,
I think that you should raise your kids in the do as I do, not as I just say. I think that's very important. But at the same time, I'm not going to judge myself or others if they want to have a glass of wine, especially if they're mothers. I say go for it. Whatever floats your boat, as long as you don't abuse it. Don't abuse the alcohol.
How'd you like? You seem a little like argumentative with our guest, Lisa. So I mean,
because I felt like she was a little judgy.
Well, because she has to be. She's 30 years sober.
But it's a good thing. Yeah, good for her.
You know.
Yeah, to each their own.
Well, so Ilene, you identify with her. What do you think of Lisa?
Oh, I felt that Lisa was talking from her experience, and I thought she made a number of good points. And to your point, all of us have our opinions and our ways of looking at things.
Right.
And I thought she was really true to herself, and that is what mattered to me.
Exactly. And guess who else is being true to herself? This girl. Because I would have normally just fell in line with what Lisa was saying, right? And not said my opinion.
I agree.
So I'm
I know.
becoming more of a woman of not being afraid to share my opinion, which is take your kid to a microbrew if you want a beer.
Which Ilene says you're dealing with
As long as it's not abuse.
You're dealing with your anger and emotions.
Yeah.
Because how could you not if
I think can we do a show, Ashley? I want to do a show on guilt and how it changes people, because it literally creates something inside of you that you are then creating your own neural pathways, and you're really setting yourself up to fail.
We could do it. We do in conjunction with the pedophiles. We'll do like Catholic.
No,
Catholic
I don't
guilt
want to talk about
pedophiles.
pedophiles and guilt, because
No,
why would you put those together?
I was making a joke. Catholic, pedophile, guilt. Anyway, she missed it.
Yeah, pedophiling is never
Go ahead,
funny.
Ashley, what are you gonna say?
It's never funny.
No, I
Tim.
was just gonna say I totally got you guys on it right now.
We're gonna introduce the world to Ashley.
Yes, and so tell me, Ilene, what's your favorite part of the show besides you sitting here and talking to us?
Well, I've really enjoyed the banter between the two of you.
Good.
Yes.
That
Do we make
I'm
you
right,
feel
she's
awkward?
wrong, right? You're like, she's
we
wrong
love
and I'm
making
right?
people feel awkward.
Yeah.
Billy, where's your recap? He said I couldn't wait for the recap, but he never gave it to us.
Come on, it's recap time.
What was your favorite part, Tim?
I honestly, I liked talking about the spiritual aspect of alcoholism.
You know what?
You know.
Do you know what my favorite part was actually?
What?
You being so hypocritical.
Okay, listen. What do you want me to say? I drink, okay?
I just want you to be real to who you are.
I am
be
real
your
who I am.
authentic self.
And Shannon, I will tell you this on air. I will say right now that, listen, I know my alcoholic intake, whatever it may be, is distracting from my full potential of my soul.
Can you do me a favor?
To rise and be even more effective
Can you
in this
do
world.
us a favor for Awaken Atlanta?
No.
Can you do, let go sober for 3 months? Live it. I want you to live it because you're so passionate about it, but you should live it.
Do it with me.
I'm not trying to live it.
Hey, do it with me.
I'm not trying to live it.
Do it with me for 30 days.
Nope.
30 days.
Not right now.
Why can't you?
I can if I want, but I don't want to right now because I'm going
do
through some
30
pretty
days.
heavy stuff that I'm going to have a glass of wine.
We'll do it a show. We'll be sober for 30 days, and we'll see who breaks first. How about we do a challenge?
Tim,
a
I
30-day
do
drinking challenge.
Tim, I do that. I'm the one that taught you that because I do it every year, right? But then you always go over, or I always go over. And I'm like, oh, I haven't had a drink in 60 days.
Okay, so why don't
Anyway.
I challenge you, Shannon, and whoever loses goes to the float tank.
Oh God, here we go again. All right.
There you go.
Patrick said he's making Bloody Marys. Stacy's recap says alcoholism is an epidemic. However, drinking in moderation is not the end of the world. Lisa sparked a debate regarding social drinking and mom shaming. Ilene is great and a calming influence. I could listen to her all day. I could see why she would want to be an effective therapist. Say what you want about the halftime show, but Shakira and J-Lo looked amazing for their ages. And if they want to shake what God gave them, more power to them.
Yeah, I hear you.
I love that,
More
Stace.
power to you.
Stace, me and you think a lot of the same. I think we're very similar in our thought process.
Stacy says, I want a Bloody Mary.
I do too. After all this talk about that's the rebellion in me. Oh yeah, Mom Shane, watch this. Is it 9:00 a.m.?
Hey, Otis, what do we have on Thursday coming up? I'm really excited about that show.
We're going to be talking about people that left religion.
Ooh, wow.
Oh my God.
Wow, talk about guilt. Talk about guilt, huh? Think they shunned guilt or you think they went into guilt, huh? That's going to be a good show.
I'm excited for that one because that's so up my alley because I'm living it, like the whole religious thing. Because that's another thing about guilt. I feel like when you're born into religion, you're more guilty than most.
Depends on the religion.
Mhm.
Some promote, as a therapist, I found that every religion has really great parts and really parts that are difficult for
Yes.
people. And that
What's your
happens.
favorite of all? What is your favorite that you've read? Tidbit. Give us one line, maybe, or one verse from every religion that you read that you truly live by.
Oh my goodness. God is ever equal to your understanding. Pay attention to what you want to become and not to what you want to overcome.
Ooh.
Keep on going.
I don't remember reading that in the Ten Commandments.
Wait, where was that?
That was in this. That actually evolved from my experience in the spiritualist church.
What's the spiritualist church?
It's kind of like a Southern Baptist church, except the person at the front gives you psychic readings, and they do hands-on healing in the back room.
See, and I believe in that. I believe in healing. Oh, I can't wait to talk about these people that. Hey, Otis. So if these people left religion, is there going to be somebody pro-religion or no?
Well, Richard Burdick is the Goodwill partner.
Oh, good.
okay,
good.
cool.
Oh, excellent.
Full
Excellent.
circle.
There you go.
That's Shannon's favorite.
I know.
Richard Burdock.
Yeah.
He is great.
All right. Guys, listen, Ilene, thank you so much for coming out here and spending our
Yes,
time
get
with
her
us,
book,
you know.
guys.
Yes, definitely.
Emotions in Motion.
Where
yes.
is it located?
By Ilene Dillon.
Yeah, you get it on Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah. Just
Okay.
go to her
Do
site.
you have any extra books with you?
Yes,
Look
I
at him
do.
always
She
trying
may,
to get
she
free
may. I
stuff.
know.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Wahid.
All right, guys. Listen, until next Thursday, this Thursday coming up, we'll be talking about relieving religions. So stay tuned, share
That'll be
this, get the
good.
good word out, and enjoy, guys. Enjoy life. And, don't drink.
Cheers.
You've been listening to Awaken Atlanta, a conscious way to start your day. Catch us live Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spreaker at UI Media Network. Have any questions you'd like to ask our team? Or maybe you'd like to say hello? Write to us at awakenatlanta@uimedianetwork.org and get a chance to be featured on our show. Until next time, live life with intent and have a great rest of your day. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.